time is it?
5:30, sir.
And you know what time it is. It's Professionals time. Welcome, everybody, to the Professionals, a rotating show. And today it lands in my lap. I'm your host, Graham Nolan. And we're going to be talking about today those panels that really lit up, your storytelling experience. Like you saw that panel in the story and you're like, oh, my God, this is so cool. Or the character said something that you weren't expecting. And you're like, oh, man, this is great. This is... we're going to touch into all those things we really love about comics. And you'll have to bear with my voice. If you listen to my show on last Wednesday, it just crapped out on me, but it's getting better and better. So I think we can get through it today. So let's bring in the bros one by one. Mr. Andy Smith, Mr. Cordrath, Mr.
Hello.
Mr. Clean. Hello, Andy.
Mr. Clean. Hello. You
How are
sound
you tonight?
sexy. I almost want to pay you to talk to me and put me to sleep tonight because of that voice.
I sound like a dock worker.
Yeah.
Right.
Better than a lot lizard. You know what a lot lizard is, right?
I do not.
A lot lizard, it's the truckers when they, park in the 18-wheelers overnight and they park them. And it's the ladies that walk around the lots at night.
Oh,
The truckers are lonely.
Oh, that's funny. I never heard that term. That's great.
See, you learn something new.
I do. All right. Let's bring some boom to the show. Mr.
What's
Fraga,
up, buddy?
How
My
are you?
brother just shut up. He surprised me. I'm doing great. I'm doing
good.
Really happy to be here. Happy to see my bros and
Yeah,
and
well,
have bro just
it's-
show up out of nowhere.
Yeah, there's bro by blood.
Yeah,
Put them to work.
yeah. You guys are looking good. Bald is beautiful.
And here comes some youth to the room. A teen sensation himself,
Teen
Mr. Billy Tucci.
sensation, Bill Tucci.
Ooh, nice.
It's good to see you, fellas. Good to see you, fellas.
Good to be seen, as they say. And
Sorry
let's
that
see.
you ruined your voice last week, Ram.
Yeah, I did. And hey, Mr. Aaron Lepresti, all the way from the West Coast, has made it in too.
Thank you for having me. Every time I'm next to Billy, all I can think of is dark beer and game. Wild
Thank
game
you.
meat.
Thank you.
Still having those flashbacks, huh?
It was a good time. It was good food. Billy, he knows how to put on a dinner date. I'll tell you.
I'm a good time.
And he was entertaining too.
So you guys been seeing a lot of each other?
Well, we don't like talk about it on air.
I get it.
Not as much as Andy and Fragaboom have been seeing each other.
I guess not.
That's a
Stuff
little.
going on
We're going to
there.
be seeing more of each other at the Charlotte Minicon this weekend.
That's right. The heart wants. The heart wants.
That's right. The heart needs.
Has anyone done?
I'm in the middle of a Dan Fraga and Bud Root sandwich. I'm the meat and they're the bread.
Damn, that sounds like a good time.
I like to be the cheese.
Well, you're on the end, buddy. So
Open face, bro. Open face, if you know what I'm saying.
Heck yeah.
The
Heck
head
yeah,
cheese.
face.
Hey, let's say hey to some of the folks in the chat here. We got Huron the Steadfast, Chris Thacker, One Slick Dude, the Angry Gamer is here, Rancid Potato. I love that handle. H is for Heretic. Everybody's loving the email you sent out, Dan.
Oh, glad to hear it. Thank you. Thank you for
Mr.
that.
Monkey Boy 1969, Citizen Ronan, the Vespa guy says, hail to the chat and the amazing artists we're about to watch. Well, who's coming? Huh.
Who's he talking
Yeah.
about?
Well, a wise guy. Marcus Kellegrew is here. Robert the Bruce, who Bruce Wayne was named after. Headless Bourgeois.
Ooh.
Prater 7, Stat 0. Past Master Dan. We've got our usual crew here. Stippling Vaughn is here. This is great. Great to see so many folks. Smokey the Concat has made it. Ferris Comics. Oh my goodness, we're in for a fun one. So let's talk about some really cool comic panels that wowed us when we came across them. Andy, you want to lead us off?
all right. I will. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
This also happens to be from the first comic I ever bought, and it's the top panel. Let me zoom back here. There.
You want me ready to share it?
Yeah, you can share it.
Okay.
So It was the top panel, and I think this was actually on a page turn, and I just remember turning it and seeing that and just being like, "Oh, shnikes! Look at that Captain America!"
It's super
old Mike
3D,
Zeck.
man.
Good old Mike.
Mike
Zeck.
Zeck, John Beatty, and he's breaking up a fight between a Nazi and a Jew. I mean, what? Damn it, Cap, you are the man.
I just thought that was a weird bald spot.
Well, you know, that's the thing. Is
He was a priest or a
even
brother.
when I was a kid reading these things, I knew that Mike Zeck couldn't be Jewish because the way he drew those yarmulkes, you know, I mean,
Way
they
too
look
big.
like
It's like a
skull
bowl.
caps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. It's just supposed to be like a little disc.
Yeah,
So-
and it's a piece of like cloth, you know, and it's kind of
Yeah.
you know,
Pinned
put
on.
in there with a bobby pin or something, you know, to hold
Yeah,
it on.
yeah.
This
A
looks like
bobby-
it's like,
Still great. I mean, and is this Beatty on inks?
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, those line weights are so tasty.
Mm.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
bacon.
so I mean,
really
this
good
was
together.
definitely one, and it's from the first issue I ever bought of Cap. And the thing is, Heritage actually, this was years ago. Heritage had the whole issue for sale. Somebody had the whole thing.
Really?
So I downloaded because their scans are so nice. I downloaded every page.
Oh, you have to, man.
Yeah.
I've harvested much from that site. That and
Oh
comic
yeah, their
art
scans are
fans.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, that dude looks
But
like
I-
Friar Tuck, doesn't he?
Yeah.
a little
He
bit.
does. Well, it's if you grew your hair out, Aaron, that's what it would look like.
I know. That's why I don't grow it out.
Yeah. But you know what kills me?
Aaron?
Like, could you guys draw that top panel? And now remember, you're drawing it, so there's no place, there's no words or anything in it yet. Balloons. Could you just leave that background empty like that?
No.
Absolutely, I would.
Yeah. Absolutely.
because then I get.
I
the
might have
page
done
on
some
time.
burst lines or something just to add a little more.
Yes, that
to
I
it.
would. I would have added burst lines, but I
Well,
would.
if they're outside and that's like a sky,
Well,
then
but
cool.
hang on a second. Hang on a second, you guys. We get so carried away with details sometimes. That is an important panel. You want to be looking at Cap, and you put a bunch
Right.
of busy
Right.
background back there, and it obscures the power of the image.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, and
need to
that's
learn
and
that.
see, that's the thing. That's actually a good topic for another show, I guess. But that's the thing. It's like we think that way, but then sometimes you think like, man, I don't want the reader to be like, oh, look, he's phoning it in. He didn't even draw backgrounds. But like you said, Aaron, part of the storytelling is focusing on what's important and just zoning in on that one thing.
Look at how many backgrounds
So-
Frank Miller never drew.
That's true.
Because it's
Um,
all about moving the reader through the story. You know,
Yeah.
you'll make it up when you need detail, you'll put it in. You know,
Yeah.
Here, here.
And
So
sometimes
that's
you just-
one.
Okay.
And the next one, because I know you said we'd probably do more,
Oh,
is
yeah.
obviously I didn't buy this book brand new, but when I think the first Green Lantern stuff I got was in the early trade paperbacks they did in the 80s. Or I know they did the Baxter reprint, so it's probably those. But I just
Yeah.
remember getting to this page and just being like, holy crap, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
I always love those scenes where Green Lantern would power up and he'd do his little phrase,
oh yeah.
those were always really cool.
Yeah.
No evil shall escape my sight.
Well, when did you get here?
Right.
Wow.
Light.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. My favorite color
Wear
green.
my power, RT Bear's light.
Yes.
That's right.
It's radiating.
It is. That's how we knew you
he
were
says, when I first spoke those words, I had no notion of the kind of evils there are. I was very young then, very innocent. I wish I could be like that again. Oh, Denny. Tell me, Denny.
Wow.
So-
And they think comics are kind of
here. Is that the dialogue?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
my
after he says the oath.
God. Oh,
That's a little bit on the wussy side for Green
Yeah.
Lantern.
That's not very heroic.
Yeah, I know. I
But
was
it's
hanging
so
out with Green
typical
Arrow
of
too much.
Run.
So
Yeah.
So
You
there's
should
there's
say-
two
you
to
should
start
say,
us off.
I'm a jaded bastard and I'm proud of it.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Bring it on.
Slap some sense
Yeah.
into Green
Toss
Arrow.
it.
They tried to
Cigarette
make
on the
Green
ground.
Lantern a social worker instead of a cop.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he was a little judgy in that series, just a smidge.
Oh yeah, because it was because you had the the leftist representation of Green Arrow on the other side, constantly prodding him. What'd you do for the people you fixed the purple people and the yellow people? What about the brown people?
Yeah. What about the white people?
Yeah.
What about
Well,
lethal people instead of aliens? How about that?
What this specific issue was dealing with? This specific issue was dealing with overpopulation on this alien planet they were at.
Oh, okay.
Oh, brother.
So
Well, you know what they should really do is like a lack of power. You know how like everything is like, like power this, power that. Like, what if the battery just stopped working and then they had to go to like Elon Musk and get some kind of new battery cell or something?
No, they'd hire a bunch of Asian kids to mine the ore they needed to power the battery.
From OWA, right? Like you see
right.
A bunch of little Owen kids.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been a great issue. Hal's like, where do you guys get all this power from? And then Ganthet, the main Green Lantern or Guardian, pulls back something and goes, "Don't tell anybody. It's all these little kids digging."
Yeah, don't tell your partner, Ollie. We don't want him up here griping at us.
Yeah,
Green Lantern shows up to save this world, and the first thing he sees is a yellow building.
Are you sure it's not powered by
what are you
Speedy
going to do
and the drug
about
issue?
this?
Yeah. How you going to help us yellow people?
Exactly. Simple. I'll get you chopsticks.
Oh,
Wait
yeah.
a second.
Disavow.
That's not what you meant. All right, we can move on. I've got more for later.
Okay.
Well, I think
There's my
DC's
first two.
gonna call us because I think collectively all 6 of us should be writing Green Lantern.
Except for me.
Why not?
I don't know. Because I don't know anything about it other than Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, Sinestro.
That's all you need to know.
And
all
that
you
there's
need,
like
Dan.
and there's
All
a
you
core,
need.
and that they the color yellow is bad. And
wood.
And you have to say is it wood too?
Oh, yeah, that's only for the
for the Golden Age Green Lantern. Actually, Aaron, the new Golden Age Green Lantern actually likes wood.
That's true. Very good.
DC.
It's his new superpower.
I guess that
That's right.
I guess that wood is his kryptonite, huh, buddy?
All right, Dan, what do you got?
So what I'm going to do is,
and he says that, well, wood is my weakness.
It takes a whole new meaning.
I'm going to recoup from that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Graham's advice about sort of the idea behind these things, and sometimes it's not about the drawing, it's about the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my 2 moments, and then I'm going to boomerang back on the first moment to show the impact of the second moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is New Mutants. This is New Mutants 100. This came out when I was like 17 or so, and I was on what Liefeld was doing. He was a personal, but also he would tell me about things, but not tell me the full thing. So when Strife, this really cool bad guy, I've never ever seen a bad guy like this before. When Strife takes off his helmet and he's got Cable's face, and then it says, "Find out what happens in X-Force." And this is the last page, right? And you're like, what the hell just happened? Like, it rocked my world that this villain, is it Cable? What the hell is this? Like so many questions. The reveal was nice, and it led into something even bigger, which was X-Force 1. And then my second moment, one of those panels that was just like, this is some next level type shit. And I'll do the lead up as well if you want to load this one. It's this one. So I'm reading Ronin.
Oh yeah.
Reading Ronin, and I'm like, what's he gonna do? The demon's got him. Pachow!
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
and I remember just going, holy shit. And what the genius of Frank is that he's a writer first and uses the graphics to support his writing. He had all these tiny moments, and it felt tense. And then when he actually does the stabbing through himself, he opens it up in a double pager, and it musically, like, we don't have a soundtrack, but musically that was like a big, just like that. So that was another one of those moments that I really dug a lot.
Hey Dan, look, can I chime in for a minute on this?
Absolutely, it'll help me with some time.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Ronan, I think is underrated and artistically. God, I forgot about this. I'm so glad you put this up, but I think it's Frank's best work. Like
No
where
background, though.
it's got the like lone wolf and cub kind of vibe with all this like really kinetic line work, and then it's got this Mobius kind of, you know, like surreal kind of funky tech and stuff like that. I thought this was really
It was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
From what I understand, he was really into the lone wolf and cub and Mobius. Like you said, he got hit by the Japanese bug and the French bug all at once, and it all kind of came together. I think
that's what Graham's suffering from right now.
What's
the
that?
French and the Japanese bug.
Oh,
You're sick, right?
Oh,
so it's one of those things, and it was underrated, and I think it underperformed, but it was also like Frank Miller goes to DC. Frank Miller's doing something called a prestige format book, you know, and nothing looked like this. It was sort of the pre-Dark Knight, it's amazing. I believe.
Hey, do you remember the like triple, quadruple?
Oh yeah, the city
thing. That's the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. You know,
I have. I think that's in here. I'm not sure if it. I mean, look at that. Fuck,
wow.
man. Every one of everyone that. Okay. Sorry.
Go clean your shorts, Dan.
I know. I'm going. But anyhow, so then what I wanted to segue from that really incredible double page spread, like I said, I rebounded in it. A lot of times, you know that something is powerful when it gets tributed, and I know the story behind this one for a fact. If you want to share it. This is from that same issue of New Mutants. This is Rob doing that moment, right? And unfortunately, you know, I remember when I saw this, I said, "Rob, dude, that's straight out of Ronin." He goes, "I know. I put an after Frank in there, and editorial took it out. It said it was
really
distracting." Yes, Rob.
Where did he put it? Do you remember?
It right on Shatterstar's leg down there.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
he would have. You know. It's a shame they took it out, because if they would have left it in, he wouldn't have got all that grief.
Yeah, he got a lot of grief. But yeah, so it's that's it. That, like I said, I was boomeranging back to it.
You know what's weird about that is like I think Jim Lee and the homages, and he always had like, you know, the person credited. I don't know why they did that to Rob.
I think because Jim did it on covers. And this wasn't a cover; it was an interior.
Yeah.
So maybe. I think that, you know, that might be it. But those are my first two choices, guys.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
That Ronin was badass, man. I'm gonna pick up my Ronin. I'm gonna read it this week.
I know it makes you stoked, right? Like,
yeah,
it's the professionals effect.
The colors.
Now I do have a question
because like all that future stuff was all kind of like
green.
Pale greens and stuff like that, and then, you know, the other stuff was like bright reds and, you know, like browns, the more yellows. Japanese stuff. Yeah, so there was a lot of things done with color storytelling as well.
What were you saying, Andy?
I was gonna say, I saw Stippling Vaughn said in the chat that the Frank one is from Jose Luis Garcia Lopez Atari Force.
What?
Really?
That's what he said. Now, I haven't seen every issue of Atari Force. I only have a few of them, so I don't know.
I'm gonna do a search for that, man. Holy shit!
I don't know.
He could be trying to piss me off just mentioning Atari Force. So you can't. These guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't like Atari Force?
I hate Atari Force.
Oh, I love that.
Wow. So did I.
I'm not saying I don't love
Lopez, Eduardo.
I don't care who drew it. It's stupid concept. I hate it. I hate stuff based on video games, and it was just started out as a joke, and then it sort of it snowballed to a fact now where I can't even tolerate it.
Wow.
Hey, Aaron, just because you're a grandpa doesn't mean you have to act like a grandpa.
That's true.
Okay, no Atari Force.
Some folks, they just have isms. Like my brother who was just here, David, if a song has children singing in it, you know, he's like, I hate that song. There's children have no business singing in songs, you know, like Heal the World and like,
yeah, I get that. I get that.
Yeah, see, you get the flavor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but I've never had such vitriol for, I don't know,
No
a genre.
shit.
You know, like did
Hey,
you
by the way,
Turok?
Stippling Vaughn said it was the strife reveal, not the stabbing of
Oh, the
Roman.
strife reveal.
Oh,
Yeah,
because I don't
probably.
see it. Yeah, I typed it in. I can't find
Probably.
anything.
Because Rob had a assorted influences, but we all do. You know, we can look at anybody and kind of break them down, which is sort of the beauty when they say, you know, on the shoulders of giants. You know,
William, what do you got?
All right, I'm going to share my screen.
I know you're not a comic fan, so you probably don't have any panels to share, but
I do.
Wow, that hurt.
Hey, I do. Okay, this is from well, let me move the Facebook. Where's the Facebook panel? Move it so I could see it with the StreamYard.
Yeah, take
All
that,
right.
Graham
This
Nolan.
is from a great book. Pat Mills and Joe Cholcoon, the artists of this book. And this is, if you guys have ever read Charlie's War, he's a 16-year-old London Cockney type of young chap who ends up joining the army and fighting in World War I. And it just really, Pat Mills, the writer, does not hold back about the horrors of war. It is one of my favorite comic books of all time. And if you read this panel right here, and I remember for the first time, I got to meet and hang out with Pat Mills at a comic convention in London, or maybe France. We were at some Belgium, I don't know. Yeah, I think it was Belgium for like 3-4 days. And I had heard of him and I'd heard of Charlie's War, but I never read it. So I just bought them. And this is one panel that struck me. There's two of them. I'm going to share two panels from this, and then I'll get a little more lighthearted. But you see right here, it's, here he is. He's got this asshole, whatchamacallit, officer, a brutal guy and stuff. And here's Charlie, and he says, September 1916, the Battle of the Somme continues with its terrible death toll. As a young soldier, Charlie Bourne walks grimly through the trenches, and his officer saying, he's saying, "What have you got in that bag, soldier? If you've been stealing supplies." Charlie did not reply. He walked on like a man in a world of his own. "I'll ask you again, soldier. What do you have what do you've got in that bag?" And he says, "My mate, sir. My mate Ginger." So his best friend, all that was left of his best friend after an attack on the German lines of the Somme, he collected his best friend's what was left remains and put it in a bag so he could bury him.
He's got a shovel in his hand.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So he went out and recovered his friend, what was left of him, his best friend.
He scraped him up with a shovel.
Yeah, you fall in love with these guys, you know what I mean? And like I said, it's 1916, so he's like 17 years old here only.
What comic is this from?
Charlie's War.
Who published it?
Phenomenal thing. And then I'm gonna stop sharing for a second because I gotta move over to the next one.
Who published that, Billy?
Huh?
Who published it?
Charlie's Wars. It's a British publication.
Oh, okay. All
right, now then I'm gonna share. Let me share this now. And this is a panel. There's omnibuses out there. They're probably like 25 books. They are phenomenal. Where's my StreamYard? Where's our bros? Here's our bros. Come on, bros. Move this over here.
You should have done the voices in the British accent.
I know. It was too serious. Oi! Me mate.
Ninja.
Yeah.
Charlie would be the Cockney one. He'd be like my mate.
Whenever Harrison does his fake British accent, he always throws the word governor in.
Who does that?
Yeah. Someone could totally have a totally jacked up accent and say governor.
Bob's your uncle too.
So here's a scene, and I could not find the panel for the life of me. And of course, I can't find the book when I need it. They're at a railroad station. So here's all of the wounded, right? Getting ready. The train won't be long, Tommy. Charlie was late. Tommy's being as a British soldier, Charlie was late with other wounded soldiers waiting for the transportation home to the base hospital at Etaple. So here's Charlie there. And then as a train comes, right, all the fresh soldiers get off the train. right? So you see all the Tommies getting off the train, all these new fresh soldiers, all the wounded are transported onto the train to go back to the hospital. And if I could zoom in, I don't think I
dirty
can.
dishes, clean dishes.
Yeah, but if you see this panel right here, can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's a nun, right? And they're laying one
Oh no.
soldier down.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right? Right here in the center.
Yeah.
The train departs. Charlie's on the train, and Charlie looks out the window. So you have the young fresh soldiers going to war, the wounded, devastated, veterans going to the hospital, and there's one dead body laying there. They left the dead body at the train station with this priest right here just standing over him.
Mm.
It is one of the most powerful panels, and I was going nuts trying to find it, and of course I can't. And I even researched it, but it's the panel that comes after this. There's a French soldier right here. This is a Frenchman right here.
Well, it sounds like the British had a better army because it says that Charlie was laid with the other woman's wounded soldiers. I mean, they're getting even the wounded soldiers laid over there.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe they're in Hawaii.
Whoa.
Ding, 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 ding.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, so that I just powerful stuff. Like, whoa, takes you back and like, you wait your whole career to write or draw a panel like that.
Well, just the symbolism too, where you have the people that like the fresh soldiers getting off the train, and then they get to see what their fate could potentially be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. As soon as they get off, I mean, you talk about a reality check. Holy shit, man!
That's a little heavy reading for a kid. I would have stayed away from that.
Well, I read it when I was 30 years old.
Yeah, but Aaron, it comes with bubble gum.
Yeah,
little packs of bubble gum with the comic. Yeah.
Kind of soothes the pain.
That's right.
It's that hard bubble gum that'll break your jaw trying to soften it up.
That's right. Then you're on the injury train.
You're supposed to keep it in your pocket for a while.
Get it all warm, soft.
Yeah. That's how it works.
That's how the gay kids did it.
All right. Most of mine occur. Well, let me tell you the importance of this.
Fantastic choice.
That's great.
I was kind of dipped out of comics when I turned 16, which would have been 1980, because I got a car, and you're chasing chicks, and you're no longer, reading comics regularly. And but when this issue of Thor came out, and everybody started buzzing about it, 337, Simonson's first issue.
So who's buzzing about it in your circle? So you're not reading comics anymore. Are you taking art class? Is there a comic geek? Is there I still had like my subscription to the Buyer's Guide to Comics Fandom and things like that, but I wasn't really I wasn't every week going and picking up comics like I did when I was a kid before I got a car. Right. And so I'd go to local conventions, things like that. And this was the buzz. Right. And so I finally picked this thing up, and I mean, I wasn't super familiar with Simonson's stuff. I was, I'd seen his Alien adaptation, the heavy metal adaptation for Alien the movie, and but I hadn't seen anything else he'd done, to be honest with you. And this just sort of re-energized me getting back into comic shops and buying comics regularly in the 80s, kind of that second renaissance of a great comic book decade, like the 60s, the Silver Age was so great. And then the 80s, I think, rivals it in terms of just creativity and things that were going on. And I was just blown away by this because Thor was getting pretty tired at this point. And it's like, did anybody ever explore the possibility of what if there was someone else that was worthy to pick up that hammer? And Simonson did it, and he did it in the freaking first issue. Yeah. And the last thing we have is just a beaten and defeated Don Blake after Beta Ray Bill has taken his hammer and gone to Asgard, and he's sitting there like crying out to Odin. He's just a completely lost soul because his identity is so connected with Thor, Don Blake here, that he's lost without him now. And he's no longer Thor.
I feel like someone who did a lot of the lifting on this panel alone is John Workman. With that balloon? It's not just that father word balloon. It could have been Walt's choice, whatever, but that has so much impact by itself. And this moment, what came first, Superman 2 or this?
You mean the movie?
Yeah, because doesn't
Superman
Clark
2
loses powers and he goes out to the wind and screams, "Fuck!"
That was Superman 2 came out before this did. This was
Okay.
83, wasn't it?
Okay. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I mean, it's so good.
Well, and you know, the thing that's interesting about Walter is he has such a passion for this material, and it just the stuff he was doing in this whole series was incredible. But what a way to start off. Can you imagine? I mean, as a kid or even just an adult reader, you're reading through this first issue and this is the last page.
Yeah.
And you're like, when does the next issue come out? You know, I cannot wait. And so I just remember this is just blowing me away.
It's
and
incredible.
as an adult, because I was 19, so I was close to being an adult, I guess. I didn't expect that I could get emotionally charged by a comic book at this point in my life. And this panel, this whole issue, but this page, I was just like, oh my gosh.
You know what? I was just looking at this and I was thinking, you know what? Walter Simonson is truly an original. I haven't seen anybody else draw like this or even come close. And as far as a penciler inker, like just, you know, package, you can't top it. This is so freaking inspired. It's crazy, man.
I see some Europeans in his work, like Topi.
He's definitely a Topi.
Look at how long that arm is, you know, but it's so dramatic and it just, geez.
It's Topi, but never dopey.
Right.
Remember when Don Blake become like Olaf somebody? And so he was all buff and he had the ponytail.
Right.
Yeah.
When he wasn't Thor. And then he did that one sequence where he bumps into Clark Kent.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
It was Clark and Lois, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Clark and Lois.
Yeah.
He bumps into Clark Kent and the two of
them. And he
pushes
Clark has to push his glasses up like that.
There's also a great scene, and I think it's Tick #1, where the Tick runs into Clark Kent too.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that's that one. Now the rest of mine, we're just showing 2 for right now. Is that kind of
2, 3, whatever? Yeah, you could do whatever you.
I got a ton.
Or Pond be good for you.
Yeah, Pond be good.
All right, this is going to take. I want to get this one before someone else does. So.
All right, I was going to do that. You got me.
Let's see it. Oh, now I got to see it. Which one?
Yeah, come on. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude, I wasn't reading comics when this came out. I got all this, I got it when I was a kid, but I had to go back to the old bookstore and get the old back issues and stuff like that. And so I got the 3 Steranko issues and was reading them. This freaking issue, man, just blew me away. And this whole patriotic speech at the top of this is almost as good as the art.
Oh, it makes it.
Yeah.
The dialogue up top makes this page. I mean, Eisner used to talk about there's 2 different kinds of dialogue. There's those that describe what you're already looking at, and there's that enhances the drawing that you're looking at. And that dialogue enhances what's happening here.
Is that one dude about to shoot Bucky in the head?
Yes.
On the left?
Yeah. Right in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Right in the back of the head.
Hey, they're Hydra, man. They're bastards, man.
I mean, the Steranko, I almost called him Jim. Got to give him the respect. Steranko, one of my favorite things about his work is his graphic treatment. He really understands graphics. I feel like that the overlap of that Hydra agent's hand makes it 3D. It it's got all these sort of 2D elements, but that overlap really knocks it out for me.
What, where it goes into the copy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Jim. I think that's just Stan had to write around it, you know.
It's cool to me, man. It looks.
Well,
great.
now wait a minute. Stranko wrote this. This isn't Stan Lee. Franco wrote this story too.
Are you sure? I thought it was Stan.
Oh, okay.
It's
now, as soon as
Steranko,
I say that, I'm going to be wrong. But
I'm gonna pull it up. This is what, 113 or 112?
Yeah, 113.
113, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's Stan.
Close. Hold on. Steranko.
Well, read
Well,
it out
anyway,
loud.
as a
Let's
kid,
guess.
I was probably 11 years old when I got this, you know, and so even though all this stuff was old, I hadn't read it yet, right? I hadn't experienced it. And so I was able to go back and we read these old comics, right? We were buying ones off the newsstand in 1975 or whatever, but then going to these old bookstores and finding back issues of all this stuff and just being blown away by, I mean, this was what, Graham? This was probably what, 69, 70?
69, I think.
Yeah.
69,
And
dude.
so we're just like
Wow.
flipping through these books, just being, who's this Stranko dude, man? And it was just this story, because it's kind of, he like fakes his own death, Captain America does, and comes back, and you think he's dead, and then but he's not. And it's just, it's an emotional roller coaster. But it, as Dan was saying, the design elements on practically every page in this issue, this is like Stranko's opus, Captain America 113. It's like, it's just brilliant. And this is the page that you just go, holy crap. And
that last sentence, how can the fearsome forces of evil ever hope to destroy the unconquerable Captain America?
Exactly.
That's so cool. I mean, that is definitely one of those ones that gave you chills when you were a kid.
Right. And it was like, it was all about real heroism, you know, none of this crap that we're dealing with today, but I mean, real heroes doing larger than life things that inspired you as a little kid to go, oh my gosh, it just, like you said, it gave you chills. And it was like, it just made you dream so big. And it really is unfortunate that this whole element of what made superhero comic books great like this has just been tossed aside for deconstruction and all these, you know, and social whatevers. And it's like, where's the heroism? Where's the inspiration for a younger generation? And that's what these things were.
Yeah, it would be pretty badass if you were a kid on the schoolyard and some bully was messing with you and you could pick them up over your head and just throw them down.
Well, yeah. So two things supporting what Graham said about Stan Lee. Number one, it does in the credits say Lee Steranko. I believe it was probably Steranko's plot, and he probably was doing some heavy lifting. But I also remember it was either in the book The Self-Created Man, where they talk about Jim's storytelling conventions, where or another one where he talked about where he wanted the dialogue to go in a a clockwise fashion from around the page, and Stan switched the panels and balloons around so the guy was free and then like tied up.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and that was a Stan faux pas, not, you know, going along with what Jim had wanted to do. So that supports your hypothesis in a great way.
We lost.
All right, can I do one more? Because I got
let's do it. These are
as
great.
Long as
man.
you don't take another one from me, go ahead.
This is an oldie. This is an older one too, but I hope it's not stepping on your toes. Because I didn't take any FF. I didn't take any FF pages. So
okay, I do have some FF pages.
Oh my!
All right.
Wait a minute, that was my choice.
Oh yeah,
that was a good one.
Well, Art did ink assist on this, so he's
Spidey
spotted the blacks back in the day.
This is Romita's first issue.
You got to start somewhere.
And boy, I tell you, when you get to the end of this, the problem with this is the way it laid out was you didn't turn the page. It was open, I'm pretty sure, to this, so you kind of saw it coming before you got there, but it was still like, what? Norman Osborn's the Green Goblin?
Wow.
And again, I read this as a kid in retrospect. I wasn't old enough, you know, because this is like what, 66, I think. And I was just a wee lad of 2. But again, we used to be so supercharged, man. We'd go to these bookstores as little kids. We'd ride the bus into Portland and we would race each other to get to these used bookstores because they had boxes, you know, Batman, Spider-Man, FF. We'd just go through there and try to find, and we'd be fighting each other, you know, trying to get to the Spider-Man stuff. So when you got in there and got an issue like this, you're like, oh my gosh, this is a Green Goblin. And then you get to the end and you're like, holy crap. Because even though I was in the Ross Andrew era of Spider-Man as a kid.
Right.
So you knew who these characters were, but you didn't know the history. Right. And then as you start reading this stuff and like getting yourself caught up with where you're at on the newsstand, it was just incredible. And I remember this just going, whoa, and, it's like, how's he going to get out of this?
Well, it gives it away. It says next issue, Spidey saves the day. So
how? Yeah. How does he save the day, Art? How?
Man, they gave it all away right there. Well, it's not going to be this situation.
Hey, Kellraiser's saying, sorry, Graham. Stranko wrote that issue.
No, not the case. I can pull the issue up if you want.
Well, maybe he's inferring that Stan got credit, but that maybe Jim did all the writing and Stan did some editing.
But again, the other piece of evidence that supports Graham is Jim complaining about how Stan messed up his flow of this particular page, which means that could have been the case.
He wrote the dialogue. That Stan wrote the dialogue.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. But anyway, so there you go. That's a mega way back, but a great moment. It's not a splash page.
No, it didn't have to be splash. It'd just be those moments, those panels where you're like, whoa, a big reveal.
This was a moment.
Or a wonderful piece of dialogue where you're like, oh, shit. I got one like that where it's just it's really dialogue heavy, but when you see it in context, it's like, shit, this is so cool.
Well, they also
I was looking through I was looking through the first two volumes of Wraith of God for a cool piece of dialogue for this show. I couldn't find anything, unfortunately. No, I couldn't.
No, there's a similar moment to this in and this was more immediate for me because I was actually back to reading comics when they revealed who the Hobgoblin was. Yep. And that was that issue. You're like, oh, finally, you're just zipping through there waiting to find out who it is. But
who was it? Ned Leeds?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So
but did they retro change that? Like it really wasn't him? Or...
Yes. And they went back and come on, man. If you're going to do it, or just don't do it.
I don't like retcon at all. The first time I ever got like hyper pissed off as a toxic fan is you guys remember mid 90s? It was like a Danny Fingeroth invention, the Clone Saga.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Clone started back in when I was a kid, though.
Yeah.
Well, no, yes, absolutely.
With the Jerry Conway run.
Yeah, with the whatever that Green Goblin looking, not Green Goblin,
Jackal.
but Jackal. Yeah, and he threw down the smokestack and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that made me upset though is that story happened before I was born, and in the retcon they try to say that was the time that the switcheroo happened, which basically told me, young little Danny Frega who loved Spider-Man since he was 5 years old, that he was loving a fake his whole life.
Yep. Ooh. That every story you enjoyed was a clone.
Yeah. And dude, that was a gut punch. I was like, fuck you. I will not accept this. Yeah. And, I mean, it's a fictional character, but Spider-Man's my guy. So, I was very upset about that.
I think Disney and Star Wars took you up on that as a motivation, and did that with Luke Skywalker.
Hold my beard. That was awesome.
Stand
Hold
back.
my beard.
Yeah, it's like I can't stand these writers. They get like ideas like after the fact, and it doesn't really fit with what they were originally setting up. You know what I mean? But they try to, like you said, retcon it and change it, and you're just like, just go with it, you know what it is, and leave it. So anyway,
okay, Art, you're up.
Write good stories, right?
Yeah, exactly. Write them good the first time.
All right. Well, I got a doozy for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is the Born Again. I go back to this all the time, man. And this splash right here, it's deceivingly simple, but it's so freaking bold. And then just the big saved, the typeface and everything. This is just perfect, man. The composition, the shadowing. I don't think you'll find many like panels as good as this. And I do think there's a scene. Well, they do it in the movies with Captain America where he's punching the heavy bag, and I do think this one image inspired that whole scene with Captain America. But yeah,
Oh, right,
I think
yeah.
there's been a lot of people that have tried to do this, and have aped it. And then this one too, where the guy is kind of down, like it's
Jim
a
Lee.
straight down shot. Like who would
Jim
do
Lee
like
took
this?
this for Wildcats.
Yeah, like it's been aped a billion times.
Why is Daredevil blonde? Isn't he redhead?
That's strawberry blonde, man.
Yeah, they didn't do the coloring very well. It looks like blonde to me.
Yeah, let's find out who did the coloring.
Same person.
Christy Shield.
Come on, Christy.
This looks really saturated, so it might not be.
Read a comic,
Yeah.
Christy. For God's sakes.
Yeah.
But
Also, it
every
looks like there's some-
issue of this story arc started off with a down shot of him,
Yeah,
straight
right.
down,
Yeah.
moving through. Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
the
and
shot
this-
when he's on the cot and he's like,
Yes.
Jesus, and his
Yes.
arms are out.
Yeah.
It was tough. It was tough. I was going to choose that one, but this one in the alley, I think, has been duped more.
This show is making me want to read more comics.
I know,
yeah.
right?
I want to reread this so bad now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then there's just storytelling. Like there's the wino. He's got the bottle in the bag. They're just passed out trying to stay alive and keep warm. And I think it's duotone shade, either that or like there's some kind of grainy
It looks
kind of
like duotone, doesn't it? Right in there.
like
Can
texture.
you blow up on those trash cans in the top?
Yeah,
Or
are
no?
those supposed to be lids, or is it contents of the trash can?
I thought it was the contents of the trash can, but it could be
You
like
know what's
highlights
weird?
on the lid.
It almost looks like that old school Stan Drake trick where you take a photograph and just photocopy it.
Right.
And then mess with the blacks and the photocopy with the high contrast with whiteout and stuff. But
Oh,
I don't know.
There's a second bomb.
Yeah, the guy with the red, he's got
Red
the,
hat.
and there's a bottle
I
like
never
right
saw
under.
the newspaper bomb until now.
Yeah, there's a bottle right under his hand. So yeah.
wait, Dan, you never saw the bum with the blue gloves and that one?
No, dude.
What?
The red hat always pulled my eye away.
Oh, wait, you mean the main guy with the purple pants? You never saw that guy?
Black guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you saw the guy with the green trench coat and stuff.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
I did
Yeah.
not know it was a threesome happening.
I don't know, man.
Looks like a good way to, looks like a good night.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Billy's like, I wake up to that every Sunday
Yeah,
morning.
when it's
Three
freezing,
buds.
it's
The
freezing
Garden
cold.
State Arts Festival.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Yeah, it's freezing cold, and all you have is a wet newspaper.
That's it.
And then this one right here, it's just for
Oh,
the
you
whole.
did. That was mine.
It's the whole scene is just amazing. Like out of
Yeah.
nowhere they appear. This one's been shot. Medic over here, man. Put those fires out. We don't want the gas main going up. And then this one, always a soldier with a voice that could command a god and does. And then you see Thor just in shadow right there with the lightning striking down. Suddenly it's raining so hard it hurts. Everybody who can falls silent except Matt. The Kingpin what does he say? The Kingpin, he sent you. Say it. Give me a white. Give me a white. And then, Iron Man's like, Daredevil, this man's is ours on federal authority. Stand back.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst Iron Man
Costumes.
armors.
Yeah.
It is one of the worst. I hope Dennis is still watching. That is his favorite armor.
Oh,
Really?
terrible.
Yes, it's terrible. And I know
this-
he's still watching. He's in the chat. It's
Why
terrible.
would you like that?
Oh,
Is this
Yeah,
when they
there
first
is.
went with the
Yeah.
silver though? It was like it's the
it's the
silver,
Silver
and red.
Centurion.
Yeah.
Ugh.
With a weird
Not
triangle.
good.
Good job, Art.
No.
That was the one I was good at. That was my next one.
Oh God, this still
Great paint.
Not
Yeah.
even close to my next one.
it inspires. It inspires.
Yeah, I remember that sequence. I thought that was really cool.
That
Yeah.
Captain America's
And
just
isn't
so
there's like
badass.
there's part like where the Iron Man says something like you just see his hand from his point of view and his hand's aimed at Matt Murdock. And then it says something about holding silent enough power to level the city or something like that. Yeah, he holds it, waiting for like orders or something like that, and then Cap comes in. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
There's one where Cap's in another. It's either in this issue or an earlier one where Daredevil or Matt knows that he's being followed, and he can hear the guy, and he can hear his heartbeat, and he says his heart beats like a piston with machine, and he's describing like the organic nature of what's going on in Captain America's body because it's so super precise,
Right.
because of the super soldier serum.
And then he also says, like, like I'm breaking a sweat or something like that, and this guy has barely got his heart
he hasn't even started breathing hard yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's even before you see
like 400 pounds, something like that. He says,
Yeah, and you don't even see Cap at that point. He's just describing him.
Yeah.
And then I think that's the first time you see him right here.
I think he encounters him on a rooftop.
Oh, that's right. You see him running. Yeah. You see him running. Yeah.
Art, what issue number is it?
Oh God, I don't know.
It's the one with that American flag guy's face on the cover, right?
Yeah.
Give me a white. Give me a white. Yeah.
Blues, whites, and reds.
Yeah. I
remember.
Man, I tell you, the whole series, there was not any dull moment in this. Even when what was the reporter's name? I forgot it.
Ben Urich.
Oh, it's Urich.
He comes home and his wife is hanging in the shower by her neck. Oh my gosh.
God,
and he gets her just in time to cut her down.
Dude, all the Karen Page stuff. It's dude, I gotta go back in. This is so good.
You gotta go back in.
Page rats him out, man. She sells Matt out.
Dude,
yeah, because she's a drug addict. She's a whore and a drug addict.
Yeah. But anyway,
233.
Is it?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's
233.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Yeah,
cool.
Okay.
I love that. I love that whole run.
So do I. You just brought back so many good memories.
To me, like Batman Year One is great. It's kind of like Mazzucchelli just using a brush, but I liked the Daredevil Born Again, because there was brush and pin. Like there was this nice blend of these two tools, and God, just inspiring, just amazing stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it for the full year? Was it 12 issues or less? The Born Again series, yeah.
Feels
maybe
like,
8.
Closing my eyes, yeah, it feels like 8.
And then there's even a scene in there where Santa Claus stabs Matt Murdock.
Yeah, it's there's two guys, Turk and
Grotto,
two like ne'er-do-wells that were constantly in it.
Turk and Grotto.
Yeah, and then he gets hit by a car after he gets stabbed. He gets hit by a car.
Dude, Frank punishes him, dude.
Oh
the thing is like I always thought if you were going to what do they call it? Deconstruct something, like this is the perfect how you deconstruct a character and then you build them back up. So by the end, man, you were cheering for Matt Murdock and all that stuff. It was fantastic. And just when you thought you couldn't take any more, man, he just kept dishing it out. And then Matt, endures and just builds up and becomes the hero again. He takes on the mantle again. I think there's even a scene where Bullseye takes on the Daredevil like costume and everything and starts, messing with Daredevil's reputation and stuff. Man, there's so much in that story. Fucking Kingpin. What a dick.
Great series. Great.
He's a dick.
Fatso.
Fatso.
What we got? Oh, snap.
Oh, that's a great one.
This one, when I was a kid, and Batman had just been fighting Ra's al Ghul out in the desert, and he gets bit by a scorpion, just bad luck. And, so he leaves him there to die, and Talia, saying goodbye, kisses him, but gives him the antidote. And so, Ra's has been like, in complete awe of this man who's, really taken it to him like nobody has in the few hundred years he's been alive. And then Batman comes across the desert, throws back that tarp, and screams his name. He's got that really masculine, hairy chest and everything. You never saw a guy with a hairy chest in a comic before. And, Ra's just like gobsmacked. He's like, are you man or fiend from hell? And then in the next panel, Batman punches him right through his kisser and knocks him on his ass and drags him away into the desert. It's so great.
Yeah, I've always loved that panel.
Yeah, Neil just drew the shit out of that. So good.
Oh, that was some great Neil Adams stuff there in that Batman stuff he did. Fantastic.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's my first one. Here's my second one from the same issue. Aaron.
I had that one too.
Yes. Look at the motorcycle in the air, dude. Fuck.
Yeah. See, now the payoff here is because the world and the readers think Captain America's dead,
right.
And, all the characters are behaving like Cap is dead, Nick Fury and the Avengers are getting buried. And then all of a sudden, like in the previous page, there's this roaring sound of this motorcycle and stuff. And then you turn and boom, here comes Cap. He's smashing over gravestones and kicking Hydra ass, and then the narrative, suddenly the scene is shattered by a nerve-searing roar of defiance as a dozen Hydra killers whirl about to see a high-powered motorcycle leaping from the crest of a hill. And as the thundering machine splays the marble and granite of battered tombstones in its path, a sinewy red, white, and blue thunderbolt on a mission of vengeance smashes into their midst. Captain America lives.
Isn't the next page that other splash? I mean, doesn't it go right into that splash page after this?
No. I think there's another page of fight, and then
it goes into that. Yeah, you're right. That's
right.
Yeah.
So, this is great.
That's
great, Durango. Look at that tree.
Yeah.
Looks like the tree's reaching out for Cap too.
Yeah. It's like, well, it pulls that whole the whole circle. It leads your eye and just keeps it going around.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Come on, Jim, get this stuff done so we can get that IDW book of this.
What's he having to get done?
Well, he's doing all the design work on it. He's being very finicky, and Scott Dunbier's pretty much given up on it, but Stranko keeps teasing that it's coming. So it's like
I hope
it's
it
Cap
does.
111, 112, or pardon me, 110, 111, and 113 in a what do you call it, artist edition.
Oh God!
And that's all that's going to be in it, or those three issues,
so.
or
is it going to be laminated?
Oh my God!
Huh?
I just hope it's laminated.
I just hope it comes out.
I know.
All right, here's my third one. This is from Thor #1 when they rebooted it. This is after Civil War, and I hated how they chose who was conservative and who was liberal in there, and how they they put Iron Man as the conservative, but he's basically a fascist.
Really.
He wants people to sign up for things, and register your powers, all that kind of bullshit, which no conservative would want.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, there was a doppelganger Thor, I guess, which is part of the storyline, and then the real Thor returns here, and so Tony Stark goes to confront him because he's now set up Asgard right there in like North Dakota or something like that, and he goes and starts talking to him about, you're with us, you're against us, or whatever. And Thor's just sitting there listening to him. And then he says, you call yourself a friend, you jailed, you turned in your friends, and you made a mockery of me and my body and all this other stuff. And, he just starts bringing down the lightning and everything. And Tony Stark, shoots him with his repulsor rays, and he just stands there and takes it. And then Thor, just smashes him with his hammer and knocks him around. And so they have this short little fight before Thor beats the living shit out of him and shorts out his uniform and everything. Then you get to this page, and he just tears his helmet off with impunity. And then what I was talking about with the dialogue, which is so great, he says, give your orders and ultimatums to those who choose to obey or are too cowardly to fight, not to me. Or learn again the difference between a god of thunder and a mortal man in a metal suit. As for your masters, since power is all they understand, tell them that Thor says this. If any mortal comes uninvited to Asgard on behalf of those who suppose themselves to be powers, within the hour they will learn what true power is.
Great stuff.
Wow,
That's
a
great.
lot of power going on.
Oh, it's badass, you know, and the lead-in
Yeah.
pages were so great.
Is this that Olivier Coipel or
Yep.
whatever? Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great stuff.
yeah.
I hated
Yeah,
this
it's
series. This is a great moment. And the reason I hated it was because I thought Straczynski wrote it like a television show and he kept dragging it out. And there was moments like this that were incredible in it. But then there was all the in between. It's like, dude, get to the freaking point. I think after issue 10, I finally just bagged on it instead of
Get off my lawn.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the last work I had. I was with you, Graham. I had a few things to say, and I told this story at the Wizard World panel in Philadelphia. How I basically let everyone know that Captain America was the conservative,
Yeah.
and the Republican, and that Tony Stark was the leftist, and the big government guy, and the
Yeah, the guy
and,
taking the money from the
and-
government.
and
you know.
that shocked the shit out of everybody. And it
Let's
was a
just go down
great
backwards.
moment. And then I never was asked to do anything for Marvel ever again.
Mm.
Joe was there. Everybody was there who was at the show that worked on the books. And I just had it. I just had it with how they were just espousing all this bullshit,
Yeah.
that Iron Man is the Republican, he's a conservative, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I gotta ask you guys something,
That's what they always do, man. It's like they always flip it, right? They flip it. And so the fascist, that's the conservative, and these liberal guys are really the all-Americans. You're like,
Yep.
Yeah. What I
No.
said, did I tell it too many times what I said? Because I can tell you what I said.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
About 500 people in the room, right? So they start espousing all this shit, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, you know what? I got to say something. And I said, who here in the audience is on Tony Stark's side? And it was like nobody, right? 2 people. I said, who here is on Captain America's side? And they said, and everyone, that sort of thing. I said, all right, I got to ask you a question. So you're saying with the Superhero Registration Act that if someone has the power to kill half the people in this room right now, they should not have to register that power? Well, no, with great power comes responsibility, blah, 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 all this shit. You know what I mean? I said, all right, I got one question to ask you. Then how do you all feel about gun control? And that started the whole thing. I said, are you for registering firearms? Are you for registering, your AR-15s? I have the power, should I be able to walk in? And I said, because I'm the one that's against that. I said, what you guys are saying is that you guys are the fascists. It's the liberals, it's the left, it's the government control, big government people. That's the one who wants to register everything. And started this whole thing, and Joe's like, all right, let's move on. Agreeing with me. I'm like, wait a minute, I never thought of it that way.
Hey, Mo Slazak, thank you so much for that 1999 super chat. That's a good cigar.
I just
Tell us,
told you,
Johnny.
and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, you know what else is
work.
weird is when companies do this to their heroes, like they make you decide, like, oh, is it Captain America or Iron Man? Well, I like both of them. Why are you making me decide? It's like when Warner Brothers made the Batman versus Superman. Like, why are you doing this? I like Superman and Batman. Like, don't make me decide. Like, it only works like a sporting event. It's like the home team versus the team coming in. Like, you always vote. You always cheer for your home team or whatever. But that's different.
I don't agree.
There's two characters that you really liked. What do you mean?
I don't agree, because like when I was a kid, we had the Battle of the Bay, the A's versus the Giants.
Big earthquake too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. October 89. I don't know. Like I like that. Like, especially in the movies.
You like two of your favorite, like friends or whatever, beat the shit out of each other.
That's like the Vince McMahon formula, when like the WWE or WWF when I was a kid, they would take friends and pit them against each other, and you're like, but I don't want to see them fight. But how's this going to play out? I don't want to see them fight.
Well, the thing is, let me clarify. Like, I don't mind heroes fighting,
Yeah.
But in the more traditional way, like the Avengers, like they did it in the movies too. Like there's just a misunderstanding. I like those kind of hero fights where it's like, oh, you're a villain or you did this, and so there's like this quick battle, and you get a glimpse of what it would be like for these two heroes to fight. But in like Batman v Superman, that was like to the death, or like the scale is different. So I don't like that. If it's a superficial fight, I'm all about it. But when they kind of force it, like oh, you have to decide who do you like better? Do you like Tony Stark's politics, or do you like Captain America's politics, or that kind of stuff? It always kind of, to me, it's like, why would you do this to your own brand?
I don't know. Like in the movie, the thing that I liked was that that they were.
Wait a minute, you like Superman v?
No. I'm going back.
Nobody liked that.
No, I could. The second that Henry Cavill walks into the bathtub with the groceries and he's got all of his clothes on, I was like, I don't know what I'm watching. This is not cool. No, I'm going back to the.
You didn't think it was sexy?
No, Steve Rogers, Tony Stark thing. The thing that I enjoyed about it, because I definitely was more on Cap's side, but the thing that was great was here were two intelligent human beings giving their positions, and you could almost see Tony's point of view and go, I understand why you would choose that. I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but it was so against Tony Stark's character. Here's someone that they wanted.
Oh, he's a capitalist,
the Iron Man armor, and he said no.
Right.
This is mine. You can't have
but
it.
then again, he could be protecting his own interests. We don't know.
Well, but in the movie they use the guilt factor pretty effectively, because you can go through those moments where you rethink everything because you feel responsible for somebody's death.
Right.
And
the movie did it better because what they did is like Tony did seem like a punk. And then when Tony finds, like, he starts turning, he's going to go help Cap. And then he finds out that Cap was his friend Bucky killed his parents. His friend Bucky killed his parents. Yeah. And then it was like, it's on, and then at that point you could kind of see why somebody would come off the rails and go after the guy. So I thought they, like, motivationally, they did almost a better job actually in the movie than they did in the comic book. I thought.
What's cool about Iron Man 2 when he first came out was that, remember, Tony Stark was a munitions manufacturer, and he was providing weaponry for the war, so, he was getting government grants and all that, just like the war machines today, the Boeing and all these other companies, that create war machines. And it wasn't until, he got stuck in Vietnam and had his heart damaged by that explosion, the landmine, and then he built the Iron Man suit that he, started to rethink about the weapons he was making, which is kind of a cool turnaround.
Yeah, he grew a heart.
Graham,
his heart grew 10 times.
Graham, did
like
you
the Tin Man.
Like the Tin Man.
What'd you say, Aaron?
Did you catch that super chat? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. The $19 one? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You were asleep. I didn't want to wake you.
I was just saying, those short little cat naps you take during our shows.
I was never
right, let's do another round, Andy.
Nothing to the Tin Man.
Let me present the screen. Entire screen. This. So this isn't the page. This is the preceding page leading up to it. So we'll see how well you guys do thinking what the next page is. So
you're leading us up to your page, is what you're saying?
So this is the preceding page.
Oh yeah.
Well, after this, it was, oh, you're sneaking into the Avengers place, huh? Well, what do you know?
We just all happen to be standing here.
With no background.
Right. But it's just so freaking cool by John Buscema. So And the thing is, there's 3 great ones in this issue. So you got that, and then you go through blah blah blah.
Every
Vision's
page
messing
of
them all up.
Drew is great in this issue.
Yeah, but and I don't disagree. It's one of my favorite issues. Then you got this one.
Oh, that one's killer. Yeah.
And you're just
they use that a lot of times, I think.
The all-white background always does it for me.
Yeah, me too.
I always like Buscema's Hulk.
It's a good Hulk
too.
It was not Sal's. I don't really like Sal's, but I do like John's a lot.
No, I never liked Sal's.
Salzo.
Oh my
always do
God!
those weird
Disavow!
wrinkles,
Disavow, you
the weird
bastard!
wrinkles
No.
on his face, like near his mouth.
Yeah.
That used to drive me crazy.
That
Like,
hair
was-
too. It's
was
terrible
Sal
the way he
the-
grew his hair.
Yeah, was Sal the one
Oh.
that did like the little dot eyes,
Yeah,
his
when he
eyes
gets
were-
super mad.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
would just like be.
I
This,
like Herb Trimpy.
I like
Yeah.
Herb too.
I
but
love Herb
Sal's the one
Trimpy,
I
though.
grew up with, so I got a
Vern,
soft spot for him.
Keown, Buscema, McFarlane.
Yeah. And
But
our
no
Jeep
Trimpy.
Comics, thank you, sir.
Yes.
$20 super chat. That is a good cigar. Sorry, I'm late, Graham. Make sure you have some tea with lots of honey. Save the cigar for later.
Yeah,
Will
Get
do.
better.
Will do. Thank
And
you,
then
sir.
let's see.
Is
Let's
this
see, hold
is
on.
this 59?
58.
Oh, this is
It's-
first. This is the
oh.
first. Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
There's the
Oh,
Android
First
crying.
Vision.
I've got both these, but I haven't looked at them in so long. I forgot how great this issue is.
Yeah.
Well, I was so real quick. I'll just go to the one before it because I was going to go with, and I still can. That
Oh, that's a great.
I just
panel.
man,
Mm, oh, yeah.
Oh,
that is just.
so good.
I mean, John Buscema could draw the power, but then he can draw stuff like this that just has a
Great,
nice,
Graceful.
nice twist to the figure. It's
Mhm.
subtle, and it just shows the mastery he had of drawing the figure.
Yep.
know.
Oh, he's so good.
So
That's a
this is
great
my
draw.
favorite. I just and then
You know,
there's
Oh,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I was going to bring up Starlin, his Avengers, that issue where in Captain Marvel, the Avengers, there's a big, but I thought you might already have picked it. So maybe I shouldn't say anything.
No,
yet.
I didn't.
But
I
you know what
picked
I'm
one
talking
that-
about, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But this next one is kind of a curveball. It's a splash page by early Kevin Nolan,
Ooh.
Moon Knight.
Hmm.
And
Kevin Nolan.
It looks
Yeah.
Sienkiewicz-y, but it's Nolan.
Yeah.
inked by Carl Potts and Joe Chiodo.
How about that?
Nice.
Well, it
And
says
dude,
Bob McLeod.
Go
there.
ahead.
What did that say?
oh, Bob did. So this issue was split in two. It's a double-sized issue. So Bob did 28 through 42
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
pencils and inks.
There's nothing
But this
about
just
this that would
shows-
make you think this was Kevin Nolan.
Yeah, it looks like Sienkiewicz.
Yeah.
Well, when you see some of the faces and lighting on the next stuff, let's see. He makes one of the I love this character, the human. I think it's just a fly or whatever.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
But he
fly.
just makes them look so cool. On here you go. Look at this panel.
You know, that lighting in there is great.
Oh,
Yo, what issue is this?
35.
In this volume 2 or volume 1?
It's the one from 1980. So that's
Okay.
volume one.
That's
isn't
volume
it?
one. That was his first series.
Okay. And then the
Yeah.
next one was Mark Spector Moon Knight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
The Fly's a big dude. Look at that.
Yeah.
He's like
How many
towering
issues
over
did
that.
Right.
Nolan do? Do
Carl
you know,
was
Andy?
killing it.
How many?
What's
how
that?
many issues? How many issues did Nolan do on this? Do you know? Was it just a couple?
Maybe two
That's
or
it,
maybe
yeah.
just this one.
Hmm.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
but
don't
let me
have this.
see.
I'm gonna have to get this.
You know, it killed
Let's-
Kevin not to be able to ink his own work.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
I
Well,
think
some of
Carl
his first
did.
stuff though,
That's
so I don't think he had a choice.
That's
Yeah, this
Sienkiewicz.
is.
Yeah, I got
Oh,
all
this
that
isn't.
stuff.
That's cool that old school
Who's
Carl
that? Is it
Potts.
who drew this?
This is
I don't
Bill
know. I
Sienkiewicz,
got to see.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
No, this isn't.
Jerry
Not
Bingham?
Sienkiewicz.
Bo
Bo
Hampton.
Hampton.
Oh, interesting.
Bo Hampton.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to
Interesting work.
see if Kevin did two, they would have been in a row. So
Right.
I think he might have only done 35.
Look at that. Is that Kaluta?
Kaluta.
That's Michael.
Yeah.
It was.
Ooh, that's a nice piece right there. Who drew that?
Dave
Somebody
Simon.
good.
Oh my God, what is going on with all this? Okay, here we go.
That looks like Bo Hampton.
Nope. Kevin only drew that one issue.
You sure
Yeah,
you
Bo
didn't
Hampton
do the
again.
one after? Or oh, you checked the one before and after. Okay.
I checked before and after. Because he also did an issue of Doctor Strange around this time that Terry Austin inked.
I remember
Terry's the guy that
interesting.
discovered him, I think.
That poor cat. What's happening, man?
And then this is for art, real quick. So this is the issue you showed, Art.
Yeah.
This is where you're talking about him talking
Captain
about
America
Captain
thing,
America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, the payoff, right? Oh, damn it. The payoff on the
Hold
next
on,
page.
Let's
I
read
just
that
love.
dialogue. Oh,
There it
Boom.
is.
Oh,
Okay.
dude.
He does
Yeah,
a
I'll go
great
back to
Cap.
the dialogue.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll read it. He says, trouble, if that's who I think it is. Excuse me, sorry. Yes, no man ever breathed like that. Down the block, in that alley. No, there's a scent. He's moving, though you'd never know it from his heartbeat. So steady. There. Ran past me. I love that.
Whoa.
Ran past him. Ran past me. Rattled a garbage can. A little sloppy, but fast. Faster than me. No good. He's got it all worked out. Right around the corner. Leaping so easily. Window still creaks with his weight. 300 pounds at least. His muscles lie about it. Like hydraulic pumps, they swing him up. And then boom, turn the page. All worked out. He tracked me since last night.
It's so
You know
good.
what else? It's like when you see
Dude,
that, like Captain America just passing him. It wasn't there like the passing on the right, like in the Captain America movie.
Yeah,
It was on the
You're
left.
right, and you're right.
On the left, the Falcon stuff.
No, it was on
You
the
know-
left, just like in the movie.
yeah.
Because wasn't in the movie, it was on your left.
Yeah,
And he
But
does.
you know
He
what the
passes him on
thing
the
is?
left.
The thing is, this is a Daredevil story, but it's also some of the best Captain America stuff, I've ever
Yeah.
read. And it's in
Yeah.
this Daredevil story,
Yeah.
Because isn't there a scene where he holds up the flag? He goes, "This is the only colors I, or whatever." And oh no, he says, "Why do you care?" He goes, "He wears the colors or something like that." And
It's
he's
right
talking
here.
about
He wears
this
the
new
flag.
guy. Yeah.
In the chat, Von Coleman says, again, I wish Frank wrote a full Captain America story. He did in Marvel Fanfare.
That's exactly
Yes,
what
he
I was
did.
Oh,
thinking.
yeah.
I was like going through my brain, and wasn't it the Tony Salmon's issue?
It
He
was
just
a
has- he's
backup
flying,
story.
He's got that American flag,
Yeah,
Wait, was
Can't
that a
remember
full
the
issue
number.
or was that a backup?
it was a backup.
Because it was
like
the cover.
10 pages
It
or
was the
something.
cover.
Yeah.
All right, I'll look for it while everybody else goes.
Yeah, it's
And I
it's
think
some of the
Norm
best Captain
Brayfogle
America
did one
stuff
too.
I've ever read. Yeah.
That's wicked. Oh, I got to get to presenting.
Yeah, present
Get
yourself.
it done, son.
Yeah,
Mashallah,
thanks, Andy, for
Shad.
finding that. That was very cool.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, I'll go with the big bad boy first. There's no lead up to it other than that it's just fucking badass. You know
Oh,
it.
yeah,
Oh,
93. Yeah.
Neil, yeah.
Avengers
You know
93.
it, dude.
Ah,
Ant-Man's journey through Vision's body with all the booby traps this was so inspired.
and Neil Adams.
Neil Adams. Is this
Tom
Palmer,
Palmer,
too?
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The sense of scale was so good. I could go through some of the pages, but this one really knocked it out of the park.
You know
for
that
me.
Vision's like head, his face right there. That's probably life size on the actual board.
Oh, bigger.
Yeah, I know.
It's bigger, man.
It's a
bigger.
two-game
Crazy.
spread, yeah. So it's
Think
bigger.
about it, dude.
It's Andre the Giant
11 by
size.
17, so you're looking at like good 14 inches of head.
Oh,
14
yeah.
inches.
Dude, but look at that. Look at the bottom two cap panels. They're so good. But yeah, once Ant-Man gets in there, it's not this one. It's where this one. Oh,
The little
so gross.
platelets or whatever.
Yeah, they're like going after him, and it's just so good. This whole issue is really good. But
I wanted them to do something like this in the movie, instead they just kind of wasted like Ant-Man and made him really stupid in the cinematic stuff. But like this would have been cool if they did something like, going into like a body or like I think the Vision's the best because, he's not a human. So it's going to
Right.
be kind of graphic, but not gory.
So my next one is also strong lead up.
Frank Miller today.
I love Frank
yeah.
Miller, dude.
Yeah.
I
This,
know where
of
this
course-
is going.
Yeah, you do. He does the best impaling. I guess like
I was going to say,
thematically-
you got to think for it.
thematically he's got the best impaling, but like he writes
weird.
characters so distinctly. Bullseye was such a son of a bitch,
Mhm.
He's like, but me, I'm magic. And you're like, oh, what's he gonna do? And he gets her, and she's already proven herself a formidable foe, an incredible assassin. And we get this. Chaka!
Wow, that was such a brutal moment. It's like you could not believe that just happened.
Yeah, the first time I saw this, I didn't know what was coming. You know, that was the beauty of pre-internet days. You know, you bought something and you just kind of wrote it, you know, like a rodeo writer, and just the way, like, the whole progression. It's very Bernie Krigstein, you know, like the master race, the way she's stumbling and, you know, crawling and then getting back on her feet. And
how did you feel that it wasn't a splash? Like, it wasn't a bigger moment. Like,
it is,
like,
though. It is,
failing?
though. And it was something that I realized when I started studying layout. When you look at Watchmen, and Dave Gibbons is giving you these 9-panel, 12-panel grids over and over, and then suddenly he gives you a third of a page, and you feel like he gave you a world,
right?
You know, because of the relation to the other panels. So with this, you know, you got all this sort of tight,
Right. And then then
this
up.
feels so open, and because it's tall and not wide, you're feeling that lift because it's vertical.
And you know he fought with himself to use the sound effect, right? But there's no sound effect. It's just a silent beat.
But look at that graphic treatment back there.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like it's almost like from her perspective, it's like the silence of dying. You know what I mean? You feel all alone and isolated. There's no sound effect. There's just nothing.
Yeah. And then lastly, of course, I gotta, you know, show my side. This isn't going to be better to anybody or worse to anybody. But again, this is one of the things, if we're talking about panels that gave you impact. I had a conversation with Liefeld. I know we drink when I talk about Liefeld, like you guys talk about Kubert, but that was my training. But I had a talk with Liefeld one time about one of the things that makes us attracted to certain people's art, and what part of that is the idea of surprise. You know, like if you close your eyes and say, hey, what would a John Byrne fill in the blank look like? You kind of know what it's going to look like, you know? So when I'd seen this character before, and when he was drawn, it was kind of more acrobatic and stealthy and whatever, but I'd never seen him creepily drawn. And I remember, like, the first time I saw the Frank Miller Batman Dark Knight cover where he's all grizzled up, I stopped in my tracks. This shot did the exact same thing for me. And it's because holy shit, Taskmaster's never looked so freaking cool. Right. And just the way he's like, evening, Slick. Remember me? You know, I think I'm like 15 or 16 when this came out. And I just, it stopped me cold. That, you know, the vanishing point is near the knee. So you're low looking up. And Todd was master of capes. And again, it's just the treatment. Never seeing Taskmaster look so, especially to a 15-year-old kid, never seen him look so damn cool.
Yeah.
Why does he have all the comic creators on this gravestones names?
Todd was into Easter eggs, so I think
paying tribute to all the
Spider-Man guys.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're right. Ramita, Ditko, Andrew, Kane, friends, John Romita Jr. Yeah.
Is it Todd saying I bury you guys? Is that what
there
Todd
may be
is?
an underlying?
Nah, Todd's not that cocky. I mean, he's cocky, but one thing I know it's weird, right?
Let me just thank Scorpio here for that $5 super chat. Thank you, Scorpio. 4.
What's up? But yeah, that's my my last 3.
Okay,
they're good 3.
All right. Well, you guys stole a lot of mine, all the Mazzucchelli stuff, and so
You're
I
welcome.
got let me share one.
You got to dig deep, Billy.
No, it's a fun dynamic panel that I think is I know that it might have been aped from something else. I think from Frank Miller actually. But let me share this, Graham Nolan. Just something that struck me when I saw it. I think this is the first Jim Lee comic I had ever read. Well, let's share it.
Let's check this out.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like,
that was a ball kick.
Yeah, man. I'm like,
kick.
whoa. I'm like, holy, he's fighting the hand. It's 268 X-Men number 268. Is the first
With
one.
a-
Dude,
with
the
a-
two-page
I-
spread after this is
Yeah.
awesome too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yep. Of him just
It's an
kicking
iconic
ass.
cover that with the Black Widow and
Yep,
Wolverine.
yep. Wolverine,
Yep.
Black Widow, and Cap on it, and I
Yeah.
just like, wow, this is great stuff.
Jim, the cool thing about Jim during this era of like 267 through 272, that's what I call a sweet spot. And Art to Bear had a lot to do with it. Flowers to you, Art to Bear. 269, the issue after this, is a bone bringer. But yeah, Jim just kept leveling up. It's very Frank Miller Wolverine, like you said, Billy, like the kind of homage, but the proportions, the Barry Smith lines. Carry on. I gotta do something.
It's very dynamic. I think it's great. I think it's fantastically illustrated, and how it fits into that panel. That it was, it's not a splash actually. So I thought,
It's
well
wonderful.
done.
Well,
How
wait a
about
minute.
you
What do you
guys?
mean
You
it's
guys
not
like
a
this,
that wasn't
or-
a splash
Yeah,
page?
that is a splash, bro.
It
Oh,
is.
what's the
Splash
splash?
page.
That's
Oh,
page
yeah,
it
one.
is.
All right,
This
Page
is-
one.
This was pretty much the splash of the year, as I remember. Everybody was talking about this page, man.
And also, I'm still a sucker for all that Frank Miller, like the narration, like the boxes and stuff, like
Yeah.
off the panel, like slightly in the panel, slightly off
Yeah.
the panel and stuff. It's pretty cool, like just design wise.
I like what Jim did with the clouds. Like he did this sort of thing. Like, yeah, Cab's sort of got that in your face, the slightly forced perspective, but those clouds kind of creating a fishbowl effect
Yeah,
Mhm.
really pushed it. That's right, PMD.
yeah. I think
Look at
it's
these
accept-
people.
Whoa!
These people.
Whoa!
Look at
Those my pigs,
Billy
sorry.
showing
Hang
some
on, I-
leg.
I
That's the
know.
leg you're looking at.
All right.
My goodness.
It's not a competition between legs, guys. Come on.
All right. So yeah, I love this panel. I think it's exceptionally executed.
Yes.
And just a fun issue. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. All right, I'm gonna read.
Yeah.
I'm buying this. But as you said, everyone was talking about this. I was in a pro or anything at this point. This is 1990, right? Or 80, 89, 90? I think
90, 91-ish. Yeah.
No, it's before
90.
91.
It's
Early
90.
1990, I think.
90. You're probably right.
So great stuff. And then if I stop sharing, I have something here. And this is something that I've discussed. This is my first comic that I ever bought.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man on the
That's a
Run.
good one.
Treasury
With all
edition.
the villains in the back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man
And
on the
this-
Run.
An amazingly find it story. But the page, the drawing is on an odd number page. Like it wasn't a page turner to see the the grand reveal, which you should have. But where is it? Here it is.
Can't win them all.
So he's talking about Ghost Rider and this dude, the Orb, or Buddy, wherever they were racing.
I remember that's a Marvel team up book.
Yeah, yep. And then of course he crashes and he says, "And my momentum sent me scuttering along the tarmac for more than 25 yards on my face."
Oh,
And then-
oh yeah.
Oh,
No, wrong way.
Move it
Wrong
over,
way.
move it over.
Oh,
There it is.
There it is.
What the? I'm like, get
On my face.
Look at that,
I
man.
remember that comic. Oh,
Right?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Here is the Orb, the motorcycle guy, and that's why he
The
wears
Orb, Evil
Yeah,
Knievel
great
without a
stuff.
face.
great stuff. Let's see where the credits are.
that guy got better off than calling himself the Ball. You know what I'm saying?
right the ball.
The
Um,
eyeball.
Ghost Rider's motorcycle extravaganza. Len Wein wrote it. Ross Andrew,
Mm,
Don Perlman,
nice.
and
Good old
Glennis
Don
Wein
Perlman.
colored it. Roy Thomas edited it.
You said Glennis Wein did?
Yep.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, but look at this. Here's another great shot for you here, Aaron. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Popping a
Spider
wheelie.
sense tingling. Look at the balloon, kind of freaks him out. He can't get away from Spider-Man.
I'm digging those platform shoes Mary Jane's got on too.
And the
Oh,
bell
yeah.
bottoms.
Bell
yeah.
bottoms.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
got
I'm
her
actually
angel
digging the-
fight.
Digging the
That-
booty cakes.
Yeah.
The original cover is awesome. It's a Gil Kane, John Romita cover where they're in a subway and the Orb is on the motorcycle and he's riding towards Ghost Rider and Spider-Man. It's super cool looking.
Well, the thing is, and what was I just going to say about it? Let's Ghost Rider again. I picked this up because I was a monster kid, so I loved, the monsters.
Yeah.
And but just extraordinary. Just like fun, great art. I know you're not a big Ross Andrew fan, right, Aaron? Is that you? Who's not a?
Well, no, I grew up with him on Spider-Man. I love
Ross Andrew.
That guy draws the best knees.
Yeah.
Hey,
and here's another thing too. What's so great about it is, poor Peter Parker ain't making any money off of that merchandising right there.
No,
yeah, but look at he gets to tap that. But
neither did Ross Andrew.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Hey, thank you, Unhinged, for that $5 super chat. One of my favorite panel pages is Max #1. He's in the Outback and is fighting and says for her, "I can be a hero." So good.
It is a fantastic choice. That's a good one.
So that's all I got.
That's good stuff, Billy. Good stuff.
Sorry to steal the other ones, Billy.
So Billy did good on that one, huh?
That's
Billy
right.
Good.
Yeah. What a comeback.
Thank you.
The comeback kid.
The comeback kid.
Out of the room with Charlie's War.
It's now the Billy Tucci show.
All right, why are we on it? Okay, so it's
gee, sorry. Let me get rid of you here.
It's all about Billy.
No, let's just keep it on Billy.
All right.
Let's see. Right. Kick from studio. No, that's not it.
Oh my gosh, it's just a simple button.
Graham.
Look,
it's about finding it.
Oh man, your eyes are very pretty, Billy.
I say.
The eyes have it. Yeah.
I say.
All right. Who's up?
Oh, yes.
Oh
yeah, I knew that one was coming.
Now,
that's the panel though?
Yes.
No, that's the splash page. It's the last page of the book.
It's still a panel, guys.
It is.
And a panel. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and this of course
fantastic.
This of course
panel.
Yeah, the cover has someone's gonna die, it has pictures of all the Spider-Man crew on it and who's gonna die, and there wasn't a title at the beginning of the story, right? And so you get all the way to the end and you see the Green Goblin knocks her off the George Washington Bridge and he webs her and that little sound effect by her neck, and you're like, no. Yeah. And then you turn the page and you're like, no, because I love Gwen Stacy. I've always hated Mary Jane. I loved Gwen Stacy.
I'm with you.
This killed me. This killed me, man.
Dude, this is the comic that got me into collecting. This is the first comic I ever put on layaway. I still had it. Yep. I mowed lawns. Oh,
that's right. This was expensive.
Yeah, it was $27 in 1985, which would equal like $82 now. Yeah. And I said to the guys, I'm like, yo, who dies in that? And they're like, oh, you're gonna have to buy it to find out. And I'm like, it's $27. They're like, we have layaway. And I mowed lawns. I mowed lawns to pay it off. And when you get to this page, you're just like, you can't believe it.
I know. This is Kane inked by Romita, isn't it, Andy? Isn't it inked by Romita, you guys?
Yep.
I'm trying to think if he inked this. Did he ink this issue or was it Giacoya?
No,
he did.
It's Romita. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And I remember I've told this story before, but I was at USC and they had Stan Lee there as a guest speaker, and I went to it, and everybody was asking him questions and stuff like that, and I raised my hand, and he's yes, and I go, please tell me why you killed Gwen Stacy.
Shit.
And he was like, it wasn't me. I was out of town. I told Jerry he could do whatever he wanted. I didn't know he was going to kill Gwen Stacy.
Good old Stan.
Yeah, because he said he was in Europe or something and, told Jerry, that he gave him control of the title. And he said, how do you know he's going to kill her? So it was pretty funny.
That's great.
But, yeah, this really bummed me out because I just, she was more of, she was obviously both characters were, model type beautiful, but she was the good girl, the kind you take home to mom, and then she got killed. We got left with that swinger Mary Jane.
I was going to say, so you're calling Mary Jane a slut? No.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're saying.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
We always thought you were kind of a slutty.
Yeah, but listen. Did Mary Jane ever call, did Gwen Stacy have any nicknames like Tiger for Peter?
No.
Well,
No, because she wasn't a whore, Dan.
Yeah,
hey, you
Dan.
know what? Nicknames go a long way. You know what I'm saying, Tiger?
Wait. No, his nickname was Peter.
Oh,
That's right.
Big Peter. Here we go on the Green Goblin theme. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
That's Ross.
Oh,
There
Fighting
is-
136.
Yep. This was great because, the Green Goblin was coming back, and you sat there, and even though they kind of revealed it on the cover that it was Harry Osborn, when this is like the tail end of the issue where they get this double page spread, and Spider-Man, of course, doesn't know that Harry Osborn, he's dreading it. He's thinking it might be possible. So he's camped out in this old hideout for the Green Goblin's old hideout, sitting there in his little spider hammock. And then you get this little suspenseful buildup. And then you get the double page spread of the Green Goblin coming, and he's back. And you're like, yes, the greatest Spider-Man villain. They brought him back, and it made so much sense to make him Harry Osborn, Harry being a drug addict and having all those problems in earlier issues, and getting revenge for his dad and taking over the mantle. It was awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
Because this one I bought off the newsstand. I didn't have to go retro, read. I was like, we were waiting for this.
Are
And
those pumpkin bombs on the table there?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. There's a little rat. There's a little rat on the floor.
Yeah.
Hey, Jared Little, thank you for that $4.99 super chat. How awesome was John Buscema and Savage Sword of Conan? Or any of you inspired by him? Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Yep.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Big influence. Okay, I got one more. And the reason I like this,
I got a couple more super chats.
Okay, go ahead.
You for $1.99. You guys take that back about Mary Jane.
Yeah.
I'm a Mary Jane guy.
I'm a Mary Jane guy.
I like Mary
Yeah,
Jane.
we know you
and
are,
Peter
Dan.
Parker's wife.
Yeah.
he's a girl you want to hook up with the party, but you're not bringing her
$5.
home.
Favorite panel is Barry Windsor Smith's Weapon X, where Logan is in the midst of immersing that entire pile of guards.
Yeah.
I know the one you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that was good.
That's very
That was great.
Steranko.
Yeah, it's a lot like that Steranko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good Barry Smith stuff.
But now
That whole storyline in, was it Marvel Fanfare? What was that in?
Yeah, it was
Marvel Comics
So
Presents.
good.
Yeah.
That triangle thing of the hero fighting amongst a top of bodies. Who came up with that? Because I know Frazetta did it a lot. With his Conan stuff.
Frazetta's was like later though, where those Conan covers were. Well, no, they would have been.
So
it
was Steranko first? Like who did that? Because I'd seen Barry Smith do it with his Gore Blimey Press prints. He did
that was
that
later.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
but no,
Frazetta
it was
first.
Yeah, who did it
Is
first?
that Conan the Destroyer?
That's a standard design element, the triangle. It probably
Well,
goes
the
back-
design
Jack
element,
Kirby,
but the pile of foes coming up to the
Yeah.
hero in the triangle. Who did that first?
I would have to say Frazetta probably beat out Steranko, but I can't remember when. I know those Conan paintings were in the 60s, so he probably
they were mid 60s, I think.
Yeah, well, he spanned all the way through like about 1971.
Yeah.
So it's
because
like Conan the Destroyer
was
is the one I'm thinking of.
But yeah, a Death Metal Hero that one in Weapon X is top notch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there's so many images in that it would be hard to figure out like which one is the best.
All right.
true.
Now, there's the thing with this. This is basically your first big shot of Swamp Thing and Swamp Thing #1, and he decided to go for a close up and then pull out, which I thought was so
Pull out.
interesting.
That's what I always do.
Yeah, I just got clipped again.
I've only failed.
So Bernie
3 times.
pulled out of the Swamp Thing.
I've only
That's
failed
weird.
3 times at the pull-out method. You know what I'm
Well,
And you have 3 kids, don't you?
saying? That's correct.
Right, they're all asleep right now.
They're all in bed.
I show this because you can see that it looks better than the colored version. The black and white does. You can really see sort of the illustrative quality of it and what Wrightson did.
Oh yeah.
It's a great piece, but make me full screen, will you, Graham? And I'll show you what the page leading up to this looks like and why it's so cool. Okay, so you've got Swamp Thing had just fallen in or Alec Holland was like burning with chemicals and fell into the swamp, right? And so then we cut to this with that frog kind of there at the sitting on the lily pad, and then all of a sudden it starts bubbling, and out comes the hand, and then we get these small 3 panels of Swamp Thing And then instead of going for a large figure, he goes for this really intense close-up, which I thought was really, really cool and unusual. But then he also milked it by going over here, and then you get that full shot of Conklin right there with
so good.
The logo.
With the logo, which I thought was really, really interesting way to do that. Because you would have.
Now I'm curious if in the actual printed comic, if that big close-up was on a page turn or not.
I don't remember. I'd have to go crack mine open.
Yeah, I
Since
don't
it's
either.
near mint, I'm not going to. But
it's so classic.
I think
it's a very Aaron
like
thing.
I do think it's open like this.
Is that the one that collects all of Bernie's issues?
Yeah,
That
this
book?
is the. There's like they did about 20 of these, but this is Roots of the Swamp Thing, the hardcover.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was really, really interesting. How he, most guys would go with a big stand-up shot. You're not going to go with the close-up. And then it's like, as you're sitting there going, whoa, that is so cool. You turn the page and then you get, it's like he extends the moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty cool. So that was one of the memorable things about.
It was very
Yeah,
cinematic.
the most memorable for me is when he stops the car.
Oh
my God. When he stops that car right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, that one flipped me out.
I did a reverse angle this in Sludge #1 because I've always hated about this was that we got Swamp Thing from his back. I wanted to see more of him, and so I flipped this in Sludge #1 where we're behind the car and get to see Sludge crushing this gang of thugs, and they're going through the windshield. But it was an homage to this, but kind of reversed.
That's cool.
That coloring is horrible.
Nice big word balloon there too. I like
great.
that.
It's not great.
We should do an episode about our favorite colorists. Like they don't get their
that's a good
flowers,
idea.
and
That's a good idea, Dan. You should write that down.
Petra
Yeah.
Scottis.
Marie Severin, man,
It's now the Aaron show.
yeah.
Lynn
Billy Show,
Varley.
Aaron Show.
Lynn Varley's solid.
Lynn Varley, that Dark Knight Return stuff. Whoa.
Yeah, man.
The Unmen coming out of the grave. That's a good one right there.
Unman.
This is a Swamp Thing #10. The interesting thing about this was Wrightson was getting bored using a brush. He said it was too easy for him, so he inked this whole thing with a pen.
With his finger.
Really?
Challenge himself.
What issue was that?
10.
Oh, I have
Inked
to
it
look.
with his finger.
I'm writing it down. I learned so much on this show.
Good times. There's some good splash pages in this whole
I've
run.
got the original trade paper.
Remember when he's going through the snow?
That's sick.
It's Snowman.
Dude,
Snow
I love when they incorporate titles into the
Yes,
art.
I love that too. I do.
Eisner and Hannigan.
Yep.
There's one more here that's kind of cool. You guys have seen the werewolf issue.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to show that. I always like this where he's coming out of the leaves, the plane crash, and he's coming up out of like all the debris there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there's also the big werewolf splash in here.
Let's see that.
That one in black and white is awesome.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. See the color. I think the color kind of kills
like
the
that
werewolf
before.
on that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Say
His
that
black
again,
Where
Brian?
the howling werewolf came from.
Yeah.
That's exactly where they ripped him off, man. And he knew
Also,
it,
the howling werewolf, the Marvel he's white as well, right? The fur.
We're
Wait.
talking about the movie, The Howling.
You were talking about the movie.
Oh, the howling. Oh, okay.
You're
Yeah, in
thinking
fact,
of Werewolf by Night?
I was at a panel in San Diego and asked Wrightson that question if he was involved in the howling, and he goes, not officially. Yeah, he was not happy because they just basically ripped off his designs.
Yeah, they did.
So,
Sons of bitches.
Very cool. Very
It's
cool.
now the Graham Nolan show.
It is.
Well,
All
it's
right.
his channel.
Yeah. I'm gonna let's see. Share my screen here.
You
What do I
forgot
got?
me, Graham.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you up next?
Yes.
My bad. My bad.
Aw, Art
All right.
there.
Graham just wants to go home.
Go ahead, Art. What do you got?
You're
Present-
still
I got
full screen.
nothing.
Graham.
Okay, I'm going.
Okay. This is what
Well, while
I
you're
got.
looking, I'm going to thank Mr. Fox Mulder, 31014 for $25 super chat. That is a wonderful cigar, sir. Thank you. With your new campaigns and the great discussions here each week about older books, you guys have rejuvenated a passion for comics as an art form and a real appreciation for how much hard work is involved. Thank
Hell
you.
yeah.
Thank
Hell
you,
yeah.
Fox.
Yeah,
Hell
thank
yeah.
you, Fox.
Thank you, man.
Dude,
Passion, we
it's our
all love
pleasure.
it, and there's so much crap out there. We have to look back at some of the stuff and remember what it was we loved about it. You
That's
know,
why I buy old music.
and it just rekindles that flame. You know.
Yeah. Do you guys remember while
Sure.
we're kind of Oh, sorry, Graham. I apologize.
Oh no, we're just waiting on Art. Are you ready?
Are you okay?
Yeah, I
Right.
got it already. Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay. There was a
there we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so one of you, I think it was Dan was talking about this, and this is Lynn Varley's colors, and I think this is the first time. This is the beginning of the showdown between Superman and Batman. I always thought it was a bold choice to put Batman in the light and Superman in the dark. I just kind of like that juxtaposition, the simplicity of the composition. This is just badass with the one lamppost. And then I never forgot that Batman's plugged in to like Gotham's grid. You know, he's got that gun. He's got that gun.
Frank really made Superman seem like a pud, you know, like
Yeah.
like an
But the whole
boy.
point of the story is to redeem Superman. If you think about it, like that was the beauty of the story. Is like Batman did all this stuff just to save Superman. So that's really what the story was, and I think it was great. And I think that the movie, Zack Snyder didn't understand the point of the of Dark Knight Returns. But anyway, I found this, and this is a black and white version of Mazzucchelli.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait a second. I have the artist edition. Why am I oohing and on?
Wait, that's in the artist edition?
Isn't it?
It's in it.
I thought it was.
I thought the artist edition was. I didn't realize it had this story in it.
I don't know. Maybe it's not then. I thought it was.
I'm gonna have to pull it up, dude.
Look at
call.
Cap. Look at badass Cap. Look at that. And
Dude.
he's got Karen Page. She's all drugged out. Yeah. So this is
Look at that rain.
Yeah. And nobody does rain like Mazzucchelli. And then there's this. I know I've shared this
Simonson.
Oh wow.
But
That is great.
When I saw this, I flipped out, and I like that there's so much of this stuff in black and white that you can find. This is a pretty cool scan. I have one that's just a picture from the book, but
There's
it's
an artist edition of this whole thing.
I gotta get that thing.
You do,
Yeah,
and
there
it's
is.
not IDW either. It's some other company.
This inking is inspired, man. I mean, the movement, the energy. God, this is so perfect. Yeah, look at this. That's
Wow.
so freaking awesome.
That is great.
And what he chose not to ink. Look at the alien's hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the hat, like there's
Just
like in
the
the
top
back
of his head too. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you think about it, why did he do that? He did that so that hand would not get lost in the rib cage.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I
Right.
mean? It's just smart.
And also to give the colors something to work with, because there is a light source coming. It's behind this guy. You see his hat and his back jacket,
you're right. Yeah.
and then the hand, and then just simplifying the dome, of the alien, just perfection. And then this is the one I wish I would have been able to find a better shot of it.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But this is legendary, man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Look at how organic it looks, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
no
Is that from
rollers.
an artist book or what is that from?
That's from
Yeah,
an
this
artist
is that-
edition.
That's
I
from the
have it.
artist edition.
I can go
Yeah.
grab it to show you what it looks like. Hold on a second. You guys.
Yeah,
keep
this is
talking.
from the artist edition. Somebody took a picture, but I couldn't find like a scan or anything of the actual page.
Oh, I'd like to get that.
Yeah, I am gonna pick this sucker up. Look at the people right here. Like you wouldn't even see him if it wasn't for the balloons.
Oh,
I know.
oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
But it
yeah.
just shows the massive scale of that thing. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. Look at that. It's not a solid black. It's like there's all these lines which imply detail.
This really has a European feel to it, don't you think?
Yeah, very much so.
awesome. Yeah. But it's still so like Simonson, like you can look at this and go, yeah, this is Walter's work.
Henry Thrun, this is from the heavy metal film adaptation about 1978, 79, just before the movie came out. Simonson drew it, but Heavy Metal published it. It's a square-bound adaptation of the film.
I've got it right here.
That's
want me
the
to stop
artist edition
sharing?
there. Yeah.
This is the artist edition. It wasn't IDW who did this. It was Titan Books.
Oh, the British.
Yeah,
Okay.
Titan Books, and then
They were probably associated with Heavy Metal because, like I said, that was who first published that.
look at this. There it is. See how
Wow.
big that is? But and it's you know, you see all the whiteout and you know, overlays and all that good stuff, but you know,
Fantastic
stuff all around. But here you go. Here, if anybody wants the that
Is Ben?
Yeah, but this is it. Looks like this.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
When did
sure
that come out?
if you type it in, you can find it.
Yeah, the original art edition is what you'll search for, but it's from Titan Books, not IDW.
Yeah, and if you just want an adaptation, if you just want to get a copy of that Heavy Metal book, it's not that expensive. You can get it on eBay. Just type in Alien: The Illustrated Story, Simonson.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's great, but it's got color in it. Like the color stuff is okay, but man, the black and white is just fantastic.
Every one of us gets our feature
too, you know,
right?
Yeah, it's the Dan show.
Yeah,
Oh,
I got some more here, Graham.
Graham's giving everybody their moment in this.
How much is it, Graham? What's it going
He's on
for?
the sauce, dude.
I'm seeing it for anywhere from $400 to $75.
Oh shit!
75.
Oh,
is a good price.
75? Yeah,
75 is great.
Yeah, 400 is a little steep.
Yeah, 155. It's all over the place.
Well, I got this too here. This is the Watchmen.
yeah.
And
man,
I thought this was really cool. Like you've seen people like heroes put on their suits and stuff, but this one actually had an emotional context because you know he hadn't put this thing on in years, and so for some reason the context and everything with the Night Owl just was perfect. And then she's like, Dan, I'm ready. And he's like, me too. Let's go. Because he's putting on the
He
glove.
looks very sad about going out.
Yeah. Well, he's a little trepidatious. He's a little chubby. He's a little out of shape. Yeah, but he's gonna go kick some ass.
Didn't he just get done doing it?
I think that he couldn't do it.
Oh, okay.
And then he puts the suit on, and then they do it later in the owl ship. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
baby.
Yeah, because as the owl, he's got the power of wood when he puts the owl suit on.
Definitely. Yeah,
he doesn't have that when he's not in the suit.
Yeah, it's not an Achilles heel.
Green Lantern won't mess with him then.
Exactly. And then this is kind of a low res, but I always dug this shot where the owl ship is coming out of the water there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I dig the color too, where they chose to like make the water like hot. It almost looks toxic.
Yeah.
You know, it looks swarmy. So I thought the color work on this book was pretty fantastic as well. And then there's this right here, which just as far as like panels, you know, that kind of lead up to something, I thought this was really cool. I think I have the whole page. No, this is it. But it's like where, you know, he's like he's eating these beans, you know, the what's his name? I forgot the character's name now. Rorschach, thank you. And he's eating the beans. You know, he's just beans. And then he's like, "Oh, long time no see. How have you been keeping out of prison so far? Take a look at this." And he just throws down the button. And you're like, "Oh shit! It's just a stupid button, right? But it has such an impact." And then he's like, "Huh? What is it? This little stain? Is it bean juice?" Or he goes, "That's right. Human bean juice." And then he goes, "Badge belonged to the comedian. Blood too. He's dead." Dead? What are you talking about? The comedian? He's like, yeah, he's freaking dead. And I like that he's just eating the sugar cubes. He's just putting enough in his body to keep him on the street and fighting crime. Like that's all this character cares about. So he's just stuffing his pocket full of the sugar cubes. I just thought this was really fantastic. And this is one of those things, like, you know, we kind of bag on comics like, oh, it's just characters sitting around a table eating or whatever. But man, the context of this is actually fantastic.
Well, that's the thing. It's what they're talking about and what it means for the story. It's not just people kibitzing in a coffee shop talking about their gender identities.
Right.
Yeah. And the color work is so good. You know, it's just so like in your face with the purples and yellows and pinks. It's just weird. It's just weird enough to make it you know, unique and individual. This series, it changed my life. I look back at it now and I kind of like, I don't, it's really kind of negative and it's really, you know, anti-hero and stuff like that. But I remember reading it at the time, and it was really fantastic.
Well, it was fresh at that period of time.
1986 was a fantastic year.
There was no anti-hero stuff going on except the Punisher, and then you had Dark Knight, then you had this, and then suddenly it became a fad. It has not left us. But
1986 was a good year.
Yeah, and a fad that nobody else could really replicate. Like they were inspired by it, but they didn't know how to really do anti-heroes or this more realistic take on things. And I always thought like Alan Moore was kind of the best thing to happen in comics in a moment, and then also the worst thing because there were all the clones that came after and just didn't have the skill level to pull it off. Right. So you just got a lot of dark shit for no real payoff, and
those are like John Sable and Grimjack and like
oh, John Sable was cool.
That was before that though, wasn't it?
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Grimjack too. I think Grimjack was before.
Okay, well then there was a dark movement all along the line.
Well, there's always been darkness in comics,
not in the mainstream.
But these were like superheroes that they were deconstructing. You know, these were iconic superheroes. Like you could figure out the stand-ins for each one of those heroes that they were deconstructing.
You know, I think about certain characters like Daredevil has Born Again and the whole Elektra saga, and Batman has Dark Knight and Year One. Does Spider-Man have one like that?
Clone Saga.
No, get the hell out of here. Bless your heart, as we say in the South.
Evil One, $5. Thank you, sir, for that super chat. My favorite splash that still stays with me is DC's Batman 664. Oh, show it. I still remember when I was a kid, when a kid told me about what happened to Batman. That's funny because I have it hanging on this wall right here. The original artwork.
Nice, Graham Nolan. Nice.
Iconic.
Yeah,
so,
I feel like Spider-Man and Superman, maybe I don't feel like Superman has his Dark Knight either. You know, and Spider-Man doesn't either.
Like Death of Superman.
But it didn't.
Also, I thought that Superman, like John Byrne's Superman, that series, it wasn't just
Man of Steel.
The Man of Steel stuff was pretty damn good.
It was really good, but when you think
Kraven the Last Hunt for Spider-Man, maybe.
Ooh, yeah, that was good. That was really good.
But like I can't like Batman and Daredevil really got and they're both Frank Miller. You know, and then Watchmen is another one. But those are all what Charlton characters or what are they? Yeah, like so. Yeah, I want to see a Spidey Dark Knight. I want to see like a definitive, like a creator comes in and just kind of breaks everything and reinvents. I want to see that.
Well, they weren't the Charlton characters. He made them up. He was supposed to use the Charlton.
Well, they were all proxies, right?
Couldn't get the Charlton characters. So he made them up as,
shit!
There we go.
Wait, are you talking for Watchmen?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, they got the Charlton characters, but I thought it was they had them, but what Alan Moore wanted to do, they're like, no, we're not doing that with them.
No, DC wouldn't let him.
I thought.
Yeah, DC
wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's Big John Buscema. And
wait a minute, is that the Orb?
No, this is Ugra Kotan from Saboteur Conan #2.
Alcala had his fun.
Yeah.
Alcala had his fun on that last one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Holy
yeah.
crap!
Got
dude.
his face drugged
freaked me
25
out when I was
yards.
a kid. I I'm reading through it, and this guy, he's got this mufti on here, the whole story, and then he reveals himself because there's this other character called Thugra Khotan, and he reveals himself as Natok is Thugra Khotan, and he pulls that off, and you see that dead face. I'm like, oh man, that freaked me out.
It's so wet you can smell it. It's so gross.
Hey, Graham, can I interrupt real quick? Can I go big? Can you go big on me? No. Stop. It's great.
No, give me it.
No, it's great. I'm proud of you.
My
Stop.
calculus notes are on.
Here's my son, Matthew. Say hello.
Hey, Matthew.
Hey, Matthew, how are you, dude?
So Matthew
Hey,
just
man.
came up and said, this is what I was drawing in calculus. He was drawing Bane in class.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
That's
Yeah.
Sweet.
I
We
give
should
you
get
an
the
A in
picture of
calculus.
Graham to use as reference.
I think.
Can I have that? Can I have this? Thanks. You don't need these anymore, do you?
Nah.
Okay.
It's going on the refrigerator.
Okay.
All right, let me go. Yeah, I mean, you can
It's going on the refrigerator.
get off of me.
Oh no, you asked for it. You're
Get
up the rest
Camera
of
off me. Hello.
All right, let's get back to Thugra Khotan.
Damn it.
Yeah, that is
Thugra.
a badass picture. And while we're talking about Frank Miller,
Who inked this?
Ooh, yes.
No, was that Alcala or Chan?
Alcala.
Alcala.
It's the
Oh.
first time he inked Buscema, and he really took it to task.
Yeah.
This is from Spider-Man Annual number 15.
Mhm.
And I had posted this on Twitter that Denny O'Neil doesn't get the credit that he deserves for turning the Punisher into the character that we kind of know now, and here's a perfect example of his use of the Punisher. He's got this is not some of Frank's best work, by the way. I mean, look at this guy in that second panel and that gun. What the hell kind of gun is that? But Frank relents, and he's not going to go against, because he doesn't fight against the law. He says, I don't fight police. You guys might not realize it, but we're on the same side. Tell it to the judge, mister. I will. He won't believe me either. You bet he won't. He'll probably put you behind bars for the rest of your life. Could be. One nice thing about prison, though, there are a lot of criminals there.
That's
Lots of them.
Yeah.
That is so badass.
that is awesome.
Oh,
Is
I
this-
mean, that's the character in a nutshell.
Does this lead into the Stephen Grant Zek miniseries? Because didn't Punisher start off in jail in that miniseries?
Yes. He did.
But that was much later. Because this leads
Oh
into,
yeah, you're right. This was
Frank
early 80s.
Miller started taking over Daredevil, and when he introduces the Punisher in prison with Bullseye.
The angel dust thing, right?
Oh,
Child's
you're right.
play.
You're right.
Yeah. So that's that one. And then I couldn't go the night without sharing my favorite here.
Mhm.
Oh, cool.
Guys. So the lead up to this is that the Fantastic Four is fighting Dr. Doom, and Daredevil was helping them, and Dr. Doom is he's winning, he's kicking their ass and everything. But Reed had cured Ben Grimm, and he realizes that they're all going to die without the strength of the thing. So he zaps them with this thing, with this some kind of ray gun type thing to revert him. And so he reverts back here, and he says, poor Ben, it seems so cruel. I know, Sue, but it's the only way. He may hate me for forever after, but the world needs his strength at this moment. The fate of mankind may hang in a balance. For better or for worse, the thing must live again. And look at that shot.
That is awesome.
That is badass. That is one of the greatest drawings of the thing I think Jack ever did.
Yeah, that's really nice.
It is
What
so
issue was
cool.
that?
So much
40.
soul. 40.
40,
FF
okay.
40. Okay.
FF40, yeah. And then the thing goes over and he fights Dr. Doom, and he just tears into him. He crushes his gauntlets and tears into his hands and everything, and kind of almost cripples his hands. And that became like and basically emasculated him. And Reed let him go because he figured, Doom is such a narcissist that, he's been so humbled by the thing that, he'll never come back. But all right, dumb idea, Reed. But but 20 issues later, in issue 60, Dr. Doom is back, and now he has the power of the Silver Surfer.
Yes,
And,
right. Great
and
issue.
so he's fighting the Thing, and now he's blown up his arms and everything, so they're so giant, so he can crush the Thing's hands.
Whoa.
Just like the
Ooh,
Thing can
revenge.
crush his.
It's called
And you know,
payback.
and Ben says, I never felt pain like this before, never knew anything had hurt so much, but can't let go, can't knuckle down. All I got is my strength. If that fails me, there's nothing left, nothing. Fight it, Ben. Fight it, you ugly, good for nothing, orange skinned meathead. Fight. What's a little bit of pain to a big, beautiful slob like you?
Great stuff.
Yeah. Call it a miracle. Call it a spirit that cannot be crushed. Call it what you will. The fact remains, Ben Grimm, with an iron resolve that no words of ours can truly depict, overcomes a cosmic pressure strong enough to flatten a concrete fortress. And then, okay, Big Mouth, let's hear you with the speeches now. He just pounds Dr. Doom.
Yeah, that's the cheer moment when you're reading this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one with the Thing here is, remember the issue where they introduced Adam Warlock as him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's in the cocoon and everything. But these scientists had kidnapped Alicia Masters because she was blind, so she could approach the cocoon or something like that. And so Ben is like fraught, you know, he doesn't know what happened to her, and Reed finally figures out, you know, where they're at. And so they get to this underground scientific thing. They beam in there or something like that. I forget, but they show up, and the Thing is pissed. And he goes, "All right, you whining weak-kneed creeps. You're all pretty tough when it comes to capturing a helpless blind girl, huh? So let's see how you are when it gets to be clobbering time." He says, "Get back! Nothing can stop him. He's like a living dreadnought. He can't be human." And look at him. He's kicking a gigantic.
You're not
metal
sure.
thing.
You're not
Oh,
sure.
you're not showing the right page. We're still
Oh,
on the one with
I'm
Dr.
sorry.
Doom.
Got us all excited. Where's the
There
payoff?
it is.
I know.
There it is.
Here's the payoff. Look at that.
That's a payoff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that Kirby machinery.
Yeah, look at that. It's got to weigh 100 tons, and he's kicking it with his feet, you know. Shit flying everywhere. These guys, you know,
Can you
cringing
scroll
in their
up
pants.
to the? Do you have the upper panels? Or no?
Oh, yeah.
Did Kirby ever draw the Thing with teeth? Because I like him when with no teeth.
I do too. He did 1 or 2 times, but that's it.
Yeah.
It
I like
wasn't
him
a
with no
regular
teeth.
thing.
It just with teeth he looks weird.
Yeah, I agree. I think it looks stupid. Why is
You know what?
everything?
This is how you write the Thing. I worked on the Fantastic Four for years, and you know what? Like all they used the Thing for was like to make another character look good, right? So they'd have the Thing get his ass kicked, so it would make some other character look good, or make the villain look even, you know, more villainous. But there was never those triumphant, you know, like Ben Grimm moments.
Right.
And when you played those out, Graham, like that brings back, like that's what the character is.
Yeah.
He's all heart. You know, that's what like Wolverine was at his core too. They're just heart. They don't really have like enormous powers, but they have enough, and it's the heart that makes up for, you know, where they can take down Doom or whoever it is. And then if you do it good, you can believe that Ben Grimm could get the better of Dr. Doom. You know what I mean? You don't even question it. You know, they're completely outmatched, or he's completely outmatched. But with that heart,
he never gives up.
He can do anything. Yeah,
he's not as strong and big as the Hulk, but he'll go right toe to toe with the Hulk. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
You know?
I always thought that was the best thing about Wolverine too, because Wolverine has like this healing factor. So he can't, like, he's not in, you know, like where like things would bounce off him or anything. They go through him, but he just can't really die. So you can't really stop the guy.
Yeah.
So it's just
that's the thing about Wolverine is some people don't realize he still feels all that shit.
Yeah, he feels the pain.
Oh
yeah.
Hey, Justin Hyde, thank you for that Canadian $2. Spider-Man Hookie by Wrightson was his best splashes.
It's
I remember
incredible. A good one.
That was a graphic novel, right?
Yeah, I love when the
Starlin wrote
monster
that.
blows up.
Mhm.
Who wrote it?
Starlin.
Oh yeah. When the monster blows up and it says kabloom or whatever, and Spider-Man's getting, you know, blown towards camera.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Was it Star? I was thinking of the Hulk graphic novel.
Oh
It's
yeah,
from,
yeah. That
it's not
yeah,
Hooky. Hookie's the Spider-Man one. I apologize. I don't know who wrote that.
Okay, so I
I
want to
thought
do
they
a
both
round robin here. I want to ask you guys a question. It's a two-part question, and we'll go to each one of you. What superhero are you most like? And part
geez.
2 is what superhero do you wish you were like?
That's incredible.
I always, I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
I always say the Hulk, and I say that because in the first Avengers movie, before he punched that big space thing, when he's changing, he said, you know,
I'm always angry.
Was it Black Widow that said get angry, and he said something like, that's just it, I'm always angry.
Yeah.
I feel like that sometimes, where it's like, I come across like this, but God, I'm always pissed off.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's just it's really, you know, when I'm working and stuff, because I beat myself up so much. So
You
what's
beat yourself up, or
yeah, literally.
I thought
No,
you
just
said
when
you beat yourself up. Oh, okay.
no, I'm just so hard on myself when I'm drawing and stuff. So God, be like, damn, I don't know. Come back to me on that one.
All right.
Make it a yeah.
How about you, Dan?
I feel like the most like Peter Parker. The why of it all. I don't know. I could relate to him when I was a kid, especially, you know, I was picked on and wanted to fit in, and but also felt like my imagination and my abilities were like a superpower that would take me somewhere else. And that's where I escaped. So I really related to the character. The character I wish I was most like would be Captain America, probably. You know, just because there's a stoicism and that sort of I can do this all day mentality, where, you know, I find sometimes I don't have that same resolve. So Spider-Man and Cap.
Cool.
There you go.
Billy?
I have to say I'm probably most like the Flash.
In bed, or?
I mean, Debbie said you're pretty quick, so
I knew it. I knew this was happening.
Come on, Billy, wrap this up.
No, I think I'm more like the Flash. I think I'm kind of, you know, I think I got a good sense of humor or something like that. But I'm also disarming, and I can just race around a problem, and I'm quick at things too, though. But the character I think I'd most like to be like, man, I'd love to be like Archangel and just fuck people up and have wings and fly with blades and just sling that shit. No fucks given.
Dan's all about being more moral and stuff and not give up. And Billy's like, I just want to take people out with my wings.
Mean. That's what I want to be. Fucking mean. I want to be tragic. You know, I want to be like, oh, what was me? Oh, I'll fuck this guy up. You know, banging Rogue or Psylocke or whoever he was banging. That's what I wanted. That's
you know an awful lot about X-Men characters for a guy.
I like it.
Yeah. You know, they're a comic book, Billy.
Paper cuts, baby.
He's
Paper
doing
cuts.
the same thing.
Okay, Art.
I think Matt Murdock, Daredevil, I kind of like the father-son thing, and I always feel like, you know, like my life was a continuation of my father's. You know, he struggled. He was a fighter, not literally in the ring or anything, but he was a fighter. Right. You know, raised in the Depression era. You know, worked at an early age, fought in the war. You know, just a kick-ass guy, and so I feel like everything that I have in life, I had to fight for. Like I mean, not, you know, like with my bare fists, but you know, nothing came easy. So everything was a struggle, kind of like, you know, like Matt Murdock's Daredevil. And so I think I always liked that character as a kid. And I didn't know it until you asked that question, Graham. So I had to do some soul searching there. So that's a great question. And then I'm just going to do the cliche answer for like aspiring or whatever. I wanted to say Captain America, but I'm gonna go with Superman because he's aspirational. When he's done right, he inspires people to do the right thing. He will always do the right thing. You can't, you know, you don't really need to question him. kind of like the Captain America, like that's why he leads the Avengers, is because, you can't trust Tony Stark, but you can trust, Steve Rogers. And so like, I always thought like, Superman, Clark Kent was the same way, even though, I think he's a boring character. Having said that, I think Superman, yeah.
Man, Art, I got to go back and learn my history, because you said your dad grew up during the Great Depression, and I'm like, were there two? Because I thought you grew up during the Great Depression. Am I missing something?
Yeah, the tail end. He was but a wee lad, but he told stories. Yeah.
Wow.
I hear you.
All right, Aaron.
Okay, I'm most like Paste Pot Pete, and
Or Bushman.
most like Paste Pot Pete.
That's because you wear a beret.
No, I'm somewhere between Plastic Man and Stan Lee's version of the Silver Surfer, because I do whine a lot.
Cosmic power.
Very well, not that, just the sort of the introspective whining all the time. That's kind of me.
Yeah, that first issue of The Surfer by Buscema, that's all Aaron.
Yeah,
That's all Aaron.
Woe's me, oh my, and but I do have that kind of that humorous sort of goofy Plastic Man quality. So if we could merge, like Dr. Doom merged with Silver Surfer's powers, Plastic Man merges with
the Plastic
Silver Surfer's
Surfer.
introspective wimpiness.
Norton Rad.
Yeah.
Have you ever surfed though, Aaron?
No, I haven't. I'm
So you're
too
kind of like
cowardly.
you're kind of like the Beach Boys. Like none of those guys ever surfed.
I'd be afraid to get eaten by a shark. But I'm like Dan. I want to be Captain America, because I wouldn't be afraid to do anything. I'd always stand up for the right thing and kick butt.
Yes.
And Cap all the way.
Cool.
Well, you kind of are, because Cap is, Hail Hydra, so he's a Nazi, and people.
That's okay. And I am too.
Maybe you are closer to Cap than you thought.
Yeah.
Graham Nolan.
I am the Thing.
Yes.
I knew that.
So I always like the character. I don't ever give up. I have that kind of stick to it-ness to my personality. I can be a wise ass. I like cigars, like the Thing. So I feel like his personality and mine are close. And as far as who I would aspire to be, it would either be Superman or Captain America. I'd probably go with Superman, only because, Cap lost his whole, everybody he knew in the 40s by waking up in modern day, whereas Superman never knew his parents. So he was raised in a wonderful, loving home by the Kents. So he has a family. So he had a good upbringing, good moral teachings, and so he had a happy childhood. So I would say Superman.
And he can fly. I didn't even think about that.
And I'm going to say 1940s Superman, because I want to have some of that righteous indignation too.
Yeah, leaping over buildings.
You don't want to be Captain Marvel and just throwing guys off cliffs and machine gunning them down.
That was only in the movie.
I want that 1940s Superman so he can slap a jab.
Right. Hey, I got a question for you guys. What characters do you love physically? That you love the way they look, you like the idea behind them? No, like what characters do you really like, but you never got into because of their personality is completely unlike you? Like, is there a character like, wow, that's a cool character, and you read it like, I can't.
No,
that's not me.
I don't.
Like,
Superman
all
for
right,
me.
all right. Andy's gonna hate me for this.
Yeah, okay.
But I've always loved the way Marvel's Captain Marvel looked, but I never got into his stories.
Yeah.
It's too out there, man. Sterling was high all the time when he wrote.
Yeah, it was all out there. I liked all that cosmic weird shit. And yeah, his design was great, but
Gil
Kane.
I don't know.
The reason why with me, I'm sorry, get Dan.
Me? I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to process your question because.
Well, I'll explain. Like because I love Green Arrow. I love the way he looks.
Oh, yeah.
I love the costume.
Yeah, he's great.
Adventures of Robin Hood's my favorite film. I'm an archer myself. I just fucking can't stand him whining that liberal fucking shit.
I see what you're saying.
And I remember, like, even when I was a kid, I tried to read it. You know, I got the Mego action figure, and I'm like, and I did read comics in like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I did, Aaron.
Good for you,
Aaron.
Billy.
I did.
Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing in that.
Yeah, I don't
category.
either.
I think Superman was that way for me. Like I read Superman growing up as a kid. He was cool enough, but I always thought he was a little too, like, he was kind of boring for me. And even when I was working on Superman, it was like, it's Superman. You know, like I wanted to work on Batman. So for me, it was Superman. It wasn't until I got older and I realized how important Superman is as a character that I really started to appreciate Clark Kent and Superman, especially when, you know, like Zack Snyder and these guys were doing like these darker versions of Superman and all that other stuff. I was just like, no. And that's kind of when I railed against that and was like, yeah, Superman's a cool guy. Mm-hmm. You know, he's a guy that should, you know, no matter how dark the world is, no matter how cynical it is, he's not affected by that. He's the guy that will still rise above it and inspire by doing the right thing regardless. And I think the older I get and the more I appreciate a character like that, you know. So
it's funny. I had this one picked out, but I didn't share it. But
oh shit!
the lead in for this was so cool. This guy is basically Johnny Carson. He's in the DC universe. He's called Johnny Nevada, and he's got this late night talk show, and he gets kidnapped by these guys, and they go into this whole thing where now Superman is going to be the guest on the Tonight Show, and he shows up, and then he pulls off his mask, and underneath the mask is Johnny Nevada. And the kidnappers are like, what the fuck? We got Johnny Nevada tied up here. And he says, well, if that's Johnny Nevada, then this is probably Superman. So it won't hurt if I try to shoot him. So he shoots him. And at the whole time, Superman is on the TV set, you know, wearing actually a real mask of this guy. And he's listening for the gunshot sound. So he hears the gunshot and he just takes off at super speed and follows the sound of the whistling bullet, crashes through the wall there, and sticks his hand just before the bullet goes into the guy's head. And he goes, as it proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that Superman truly is faster than a speeding bullet. Nice. I always thought that was a really cool when I was a kid. I read that. I was like,
I like that backhand. Really?
Yeah,
dude. Hey, Graham, do you remember this? It was the George Reeves TV show, Superman. And I think that, like, he was, as Clark Kent, he's eating at like an outdoor kind of deli or something like that. And so there's a car crash or something that's going to happen just in front of him. But then he hears something in the distance and he doesn't know who to say first. And I always remember the setup, but I never remember what the resolve was as a kid.
And you think that was from Adventures of Superman with George Reeves?
I thought it was, yeah, because I remember visually seeing it. And, you know, it wasn't a comic book.
I don't remember that, so I can't help you.
I'm going to have to look that up and try to do some detective work. Because I remember the setup, but I don't remember the payoff. Like, did he save both those guys? Did he figure out how to do it? You know, like,
I love that show.
Yeah.
I
like that he would always like, he would take the bullets, bam, 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 but then the guy would throw the gun and he'd duck.
You know,
whoa, hey now.
Wait a second. Maybe you're remembering a radio show you listened to after work.
After work in the mill.
That's what I'm talking about.
In the coal mines.
Third shift building those airplanes for the war effort.
Yeah, for the war effort. Yeah.
When you panicked during the War of the Worlds.
Right.
Oh yeah, I freaked out, man. I thought it was really an alien invasion. Yeah.
The Martians are here.
Oh man. Well, we've gone 2 hours and 23 minutes, guys. I want to thank everybody in the chat for tuning in. As always, we had a good crowd here today. Thank you for the super chats. All the guys have got some stuff going on. Andy, you want to just tell people what you got going?
Well, of course. Nice and Tight, the comic book pencil art of Andy Smith. That's me, now live on Indiegogo. 64 pages of fantastic, lush, full pencils that either the inker and the editor were probably the only people that have seen them until now. Go check it out, guys. And coming Thursday is the sign-up page for Core Draft Volume 2. So Dennis and I will be going live on Thursday sometime in the afternoon, probably midday, to pop the sign-up page for you guys. So stay tuned.
Cool. Daniel?
Yeah, I want to share two things. Again, I'm working on Black Flag, working away on it, and just posted an update. So check your emails if you haven't received it yet. Check your junk mail.
I want my
Sometimes they go
pineapple.
there.
Check your
I
junk.
know. Yeah, check your junk. Also, a good pal of mine, Jason Krager, has a campaign up that I think is worthy of taking a look at. And I just, if you could share my screen, I just want to share it. It's from my friends over there that did the Kill Journal and Ragnarok. This stuff is pretty badass looking. Burnout Biker becomes the avatar of an ancient warrior and battles monsters to save his soul. I really dig. I dig Jason as a person. I dig Adam as well. This stuff reminds me of old school Biz. The Lobo stuff. Just a lot of fun. You know, if you're a fan of Daniel Warren Johnson, if you're a fan of Biz, if you're a fan of just badassery, check out Jawbone Death. It's live on Indiegogo right now.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very good.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. William?
Yes, for those of you out there, if you guys saw that we have the cover to previews with the return of
congratulations.
Right here. It's the She. Let me move this over so I can scroll.
Impressive.
It's the She #1 30th anniversary original art edition hardcover for $65. But you don't have to wait for this book till April, because this book is live on Indiegogo right now. Sweet. For $50. And you get the premiere edition. So this is not the premiere edition. There's no dust jacket. There's no sewn-in bookmark. And it's $15 more. And plus you got to wait. So if you want to go to previews and buy it, have at it. I think I'm going to do this week's, and I will invite you guys on if you don't mind coming on, about us getting into comic shops. Is that the next step? Because we're going for it. And I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on it. And I'd love to hear what the audience says too. But we're going into comic shops starting in April. And we'll be going monthly in previews. So thanks for all the support, guys.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very nice. Let me just thank Mac Grendel for $10. Thanks, Jens, for pulling that old Conan book out. Brought me back. Haven't seen it in decades. All right. Thank you, brother. All right, Art.
Full streamy.
What'd you
This
say?
book,
Full screen.
Full
Yeah.
screen. Okay.
Yeah. So this book right here, Pamela just mailed out a bunch of these. So people that ordered just volume 1, the second printing, the books are going out now. So she just brought just a stack of stuff out to the post today, because we got the trading cards in. So we have all the stretch goal goodies. So this was this room right here is Billy Tuche.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And then, two Billies. This is the black and white cover. And then we got the gray Capullo variant. And that book, the book is done. Black and White Volume 2 is done. It's at the printers. We should be getting the book back end of next month, if not sooner. So that's Volume 2 and the High Octane Adventures. So we'll be getting those in. And as soon as those come in, we're going to be in full fulfillment. Right now, we're kind of partial. So we have all the trading cards, all the stretch goals, all that stuff under control in the little bags and stuff. So we got this one all signed up. And like I said, just the people that ordered that book, you're going to get yours soon. And then probably mid next month, we're going to do the pre-launch sign-up page for Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. So this is my art book. and we're going to be signing up for this. And once Black and White is in complete fulfillment, we're gonna launch the campaign for Oodles of Doodles. So this is some cool stuff. Cool stuff
Nice.
here. Little preview. See. So yeah, so check that out, you guys, and thanks for giving me the time to draw Black and White. It was a pleasure, and you'll be getting the book before you know it. So thanks again.
All right, Aaron.
Oh, well, Kit Carter, Planet Doom might be something you'd be interested in checking out. There's the, if you want to share that, Graham, thank you. It's a 64-page graphic novel, 8.5 by 11, so it's oversized, getting a little bit bigger format, so it'll be fun, kind of like the 80s Marvel graphic novel series. And there's a hardcover and a soft cover. There's a movie poster. There's shot glasses. There's T-shirts. There's a sketchbook. There's all sorts of fun stuff on this, and still looking like completion date of around the end of April. I am within a couple pages of being on schedule. I redrew some stuff, so that kind of put me a couple days behind, but that's what you got to do. And that's what we can do when we're crowdfunding, and through your guys' support and patience, we get to make the book better rather than just sending it in and going, well, I'll do better next issue. So thank you all for supporting the book. But if you haven't, please check it out on Indiegogo.
Nice.
Thank you, Graham.
All right.
Texie Space Chicks.
Yes,
Space
Chicks. I've got the Return to Monster Island campaign sign up list is up. We're going live next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow. So get signed up for that and be here for the big launch party Wednesday evening. Actually, tomorrow night on The Storytellers, I have one of my old bosses and one of Art's old bosses. Mike Carlin is going to be on.
Awesome.
How about
And
that?
Mike's going to be talking about, his career, editing comics, and the death of Superman, and all that kind of cool stuff.
Excellent.
So it's a good get, as they say.
I'll be in the chat
Awesome.
heckling Mike.
What's that? You'll be in the chat heckling? Okay.
Heckling Mike, yeah.
There you go. Perfect. So, so that's going to be fun. Tune in for that. Next Tuesday, we go back to the beginning, so it'll be AA run.
Yep. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have us all pick out artists that we like that are not what we've talked about before. So like, some picks that maybe might be obscure to some people and say, I always like that dude's stuff, even though we never really talk about him. So no Buscema's, no Kuberts, no Neil Adams.
Oh, nice.
No Goldens,
no Bernie Wrightson.
No John Byrne, no
Wrightson.
Todd McFarlane, no Frank Miller, no.
Boy, Dan is
Mike
screwed.
Byrne.
I think Dan might be
John
sick next week.
Byrne.
I'm gonna surprise the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I know you are.
Because we all find we've been in comics for 30 plus years, some of us, and it's like, we've come across a lot of guys, and there's stuff you see their work and you go, wow, this is really, really cool. You don't necessarily mark them down as an influence, but you always remember that as being, that was really cool. And I thought that guy did a really good job. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about next
All
week.
right.
That's awesome.
Fun show.
Yeah.
Thanks,
All right,
Graham.
gang. Gotta rest the voice. We'll sign off now, and thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye, everybody.